Hello guys, I'm walking over there right now. A lot of traffic, a lot of police, just trying to get through the area without getting hit by a bus or a car. Oh boy. Okay, so as you know, or for those of you who do not know, there was a terrorist attack today, about 2 hours ago in Manhattan. A Muslim man rammed a box truck into the cyclist lane on Halloween and then proceeded to shoot people as he screamed Allahu Akbar. This is a scene that is becoming way too familiar in the United States, in places like Germany, France, Brussels, right? All over the world, all over the Western world, where leaders like democratic leaders are bringing in droves of Muslims. Okay? There's no denying that this is the result of Islamic immigration. This is what happens. So, as you can see, I'm out of breath because I literally just ran from Brooklyn City Hall. So look, we already have media over here, media all over the streets. I'm gonna try and get as close as I can. I know. People over here doing their stand-ups, news trucks, police presence everywhere. Although surprisingly, the train station right next to Chambers Street is totally open, right? This is on Chambers Street and Greenwich Street, 4 blocks away from the World Trade Center right there. So, I mean, this is obvious that, you know, these Muslims who attack us, right? They love imagery of 9/11. They love 9/11 symbolism. Sorry, you guys are saying it's blurry. Hopefully that's better. They love 9/11 symbolism, right? They love reminding us of 9/11. They're just sick. They're sick, demented people. This is what Islam is, okay? And if you're offended, too fucking bad, okay? This is a conversation we need to have. They're sick. They use Halloween, right? A day when people are trying to go out and have fun and get dressed up and celebrate a holiday to commit another atrocious act in the name of Islam. Look, more ambulances. From what I'm being told, 8 people are now dead. Right? You can thank Islam for that one. But you know, this is the problem. And then Mayor de Blasio rushes to the scene, right? And he's giving a talk or talking to reporters. But you have to wonder, like, when is de Blasio going to wake up? When is he going to stop posing for selfies with Linda Sarsour, who called for jihad in the United States, right? When is he going to stop, you know, rallying around all of these Muslims in New York City with their signs that say Muslims for de Blasio? When is he going to put America first? Okay? Islam is not compatible with the United States Constitution. It's just not. It's just not. Sharia law is not compliant with the United States Constitution. And I get so upset, you know, because this is so emotional for me. It's just so upsetting to see things like this happen in America. You know? And when people want to criticize Donald Trump for wanting a Muslim ban, but it's like, this is what you get. This is what you get when you import masses of, like, uncivilized savages. I'm gonna try and get over there into the press pool.
It was all denial. We were working for it.
I wonder if de Blasio is here. He needs to retire. You know, it's getting out of control. De Blasio, this is the direct result of de Blasio's policies, right? He allows for mass importation of Islamic refugees, and this is what happens. I mean, what do you expect when you're going to be importing a bunch of savage individuals from countries where, you know, it's their code, right? It's what they live by. They live for killing everyone who doesn't want to submit to Islam. Look, guys, right next to the World Trade Center. You'd think that 9/11 was enough for people in this city to wake up, but apparently it's not. Keep on importing Muslims. You keep on, you know, telling people not to be Islamophobic. You keep telling people to welcome Muslims to this country, and this is what happens. This is what happens. Muslims everywhere. Great. You know, it's like these people, they come out. It's like this Muslim woman in a hijab. It's like they come out and they just want to like celebrate, you know? It's like, why would you even show your face out here? You know, like, we get it. You know, we get that your people love killing Americans and anybody who doesn't want to submit to Islam. But why are you going to come out to the side of a terrorist attack and wear a hijab? You know? Why are you going to do that? This is pretty disgusting. You know what? I don't care if people think I'm a nasty person for saying things like that. I'm really getting tired of, you know, people like that coming out here celebrating. Why would you come? Why would you come wearing your hijab? Why would you come wearing your full Muslim garb out here at the site of a terrorist attack where a Muslim just shouted Allahu Akbar and killed 8 people? It's disgusting. I mean, these people, they come out here with their fucking hijabs and it's like... I mean, you guys, look, we're standing right in front of the World Trade Center, okay? Another Muslim today decided to run over 8 people, or probably more than that, killed 8 people with his car. And, you know, where's the policy change? Where's de Blasio saying, you know, I'm not going to allow any more of these Islamic refugees in? Like, what is it going to take? What is it going to take? Do we need to see this tower burn up again? Do we need to see another plane fly into this building and have another 3,000 Americans die? Is that what it's going to take? I really want to know. Really want to know what it's going to take. Savages into the city. So you should not go to this parade tonight, right? It's not secure. It's not safe. They can't even protect the streets right across the street from the World Trade Center from, you know, Muslim terrorist attacks. And then what? You're supposed to go to some parade tonight and get mowed down by more terrorists? It's just not safe. Like, we're not even safe walking down the street anymore. We can't even enjoy Halloween.
You're never allowed to cross the street.
I mean, it's just really sad that it's Halloween in you know, one of the most vibrant, exciting cities in the world, and you know, there's kids walking around, kids trying to enjoy Halloween. They can't even enjoy it, right? Because some Muslim decided he was going to run people over with his car. I mean, it's just disrespectful. They shouldn't even have a parade, you know? Like, how are people in New York City actually going to celebrate right now? Earlier that this was a, you know, a collision and that some driver got upset and had road rage. That's what you're going to start calling this? Road rage? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, when 9/11 happened, you had all these Muslim people celebrating, people in Jersey celebrating, you know, because this is what they love seeing. They love seeing things like this. They love watching America under attack. This is what they live for. And then they come out here in their hijabs and their burqas and their full Muslim garb, and that's what they do. They want to celebrate.
No, this is the white.
My intolerance is freezing the scope. Yeah, it's real intolerance, right? It's really intolerant for me to be upset when I'm standing right next to the World Trade Center, okay? And another terrorist attack literally just happened in New York City, and what is going to be done about this? What is going to be done? It's not intolerance, okay? We need to have this discussion. World Trade Center. Less than a 2-minute walk from me right now, okay? They don't want to talk about it. You have all these reporters laughing. It's like, no one takes it seriously. No one cares. I mean, this is what they get. This is their creation. You know, you have all the media telling us how horrible it is for people like Donald Trump to want to ban people or prevent people from coming into this country from countries where there's, you know, hotbeds of Islamic terrorism.
So I grew up playing.
And then they're okay with things like this happening. It's just they don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously. You know, people are so PC and they freak out when you talk about things like this, but I just don't care. I just don't. And then, you know, we have Antifa, which is gearing up for all their protests on November 4th. And Antifa, they've aligned themselves with Islam. I mean, Ed Klein just released a book, and he was talking about how the FBI had released this report, and they were showing that ISIS and Antifa were training together, right? So this is what you get. You have Islamic terrorists training members of the more terrorist attacks. I'm tired of it. So fed up. I don't know how to say it any better. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we're on the scene of the terrorist attack that just took place. Media everywhere, people everywhere. De Blasio actually had the nerve to show up and, you know, show his face. But look, this is the result of de Blasio's policies. He's got blood on his hands. We need to start casting blame where it's due, okay? You know, people say we shouldn't be politicizing terrorist attacks, but I totally disagree. I mean, people in power are directly responsible for these things taking place. When you tell people that they're Islamophobes, when you tell people they're hateful or they're bigots because they want to have, you know, tougher immigration, they don't want to allow these savage individuals coming into our country, that's what you get. You create a culture of complicity. You create a culture in which, you know, people think that they have to submit out of fear of being labeled a bigot, an Islamophobe, right? I don't want to submit to Islam. I don't want to watch this tower get hit with another plane. Some of you guys are saying it's frozen, but there's a lot of media here, so that may be the issue. I'm just fed up. I'm so angry, you know, it's like so sad, like kids, like little kids walking around trying to enjoy Halloween, and this is what they have to see. It's just so sad. So I wonder if they're still going to have the parade tonight.
So what's my ID? I'm connected to one right now.
Reporters, counterterrorism here. I mean, is that de Blasio?
Like, the control room has just connected me to one.
I think that's still de Blasio over there in the corner.
Yeah, it's just through my phone.
That's where I gotta go see Bill de Blasio.
Okay, I'm connected to it now.
You know, if I see Bill de Blasio, I'm gonna ask him tonight. I'm gonna ask him, what are you gonna do about this, Bill? When are you gonna stop calling people bigots and Islamophobes for wanting tougher immigration? When are you going to stop making your city a sanctuary city for people like this? You know, allowing horrible, demented individuals who practice a cancerous ideology into our city. When the hell is it going to end? Really want to know. Yeah, de Blasio's on TV. I'm walking over there right now. What do you guys want me to ask de Blasio? Excuse me.
962.
What do you guys want me to ask de Blasio? want to do too much talking. I mean, I want to let you guys see this for yourself, just so you guys can, you know, experience this and see what it's like here on the scene.
You're not going to get anything.
But I don't know what to say. You know, what am I supposed to say? You know, I don't want to watch all these news reporters try and analyze this and say, oh, why did this happen? You know, it's just. Just like, look at this. You know, just walking around. I really want to ask this girl. You know, I want to ask her. You disavow?
Look, I'm gonna try to get something. I need something. Guys, you can't stay.
Yeah, fuck.
What?
Excuse me, I really would like to know, you know, you're coming out here dressed in full Muslim garb at the scene of like a terrorist attack. Do you disavow this attack that just took place? Do you disavow the killing in the name of Islam?
That's so rude.
I don't care if it's rude. Do you disavow the killing in the name of Islam? Or do you just come out here to, like, you know, celebrate in front of the World Trade Center? I mean, this is a direct result of Islam. Of course. I just want everyone to see. There's a Muslim woman. Because it's cold out there. Yeah. And she's coming out here. She doesn't want to disavow. She doesn't want to disavow this. She doesn't want to disavow. What is so hard about disavowing the killing in the name of Islam?
What are you talking about? You sound so ignorant.
I'm not ignorant. How am I ignorant?
You are.
This guy literally shouted Allahu Akbar.
Bro, she's a woman. She's a Muslim. That's
so
her
what?
religion.
Exactly. And the guy who committed this attack is a Muslim too.
So if somebody Christian commits a crime, so all Christians commit believe in the same thing.
The Quran tells people. The Quran teaches people.
Answer my question, yes or no.
The Quran teaches people to kill all infidels. Okay, by practicing Islam, right? You're endorsing this type of behavior. Yes, you are. By practicing Islam, by practicing a religion that preaches the killing of all infidels, that tells people to submit. It's not racist. It's not a race. Islam is not a race.
Another person. Not all Christians are killers.
When was the last time a Christian or a Jew committed an act of terrorism in the name of their own scripture? When? You're laughing.
Have you not been watching the news?
When? No, I watch the news every day, but all I see are, you know, Muslims killing people in the name of Islam and Allah, Muhammad. Like, I watch the news. Do you? Do you see all of the attacks that are taking place in Germany and France?
You gotta go.
Why do I have to go?
You're blocking the projection. Wait, you gotta go.
Everyone's filming me because they've never seen someone ask a Muslim to disavow Islamic terrorism.
Gotta go.
I'm sorry.
It's like, oh wow, you work for the New York Times, as if that makes you so much better. Wow. Wow. Everyone wants to film someone who's asking a Muslim woman to disavow Islamic terrorism. Shocking. Shocking that some people would actually do that, right? I'd love to see the New York Times or the mainstream media do that.
You're friends with Joey?
I mean, oh, do I watch the news? Yeah, I watch the news. I see the news every single day. I see the attacks that take place in Germany, the attacks that take place in France. I see it every single day. I'm getting tired of watching the news, actually. I'm getting tired of waking up every single day and hearing something about how another Muslim shouted Allahu Akbar while plotting a bombing or attacking people in a train station or mowing people down on Halloween shouting Allahu Akbar. I watch the news. Do they? Oh, I work for the New York Times. Yeah, because the New York Times is really going to report on things like this. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of it. Instead of asking people to denounce Islamic terrorism, They're taking pictures of me. They're taking video of me, right? What is so hard about that? Why couldn't the woman in the hijab denounce it? Why couldn't she just say, yeah, I denounce this? She was laughing. I mean, it's demented. It's sick. These people are sick. What is so wrong about that? Why can't I ask a Muslim woman to denounce Islamic terrorism? She was laughing at me. And look, I don't care if people are like, oh, she's not celebrating. Why would you show up with a black backpack dressed in a full hijab in front of the World Trade Center right after a Muslim terrorist just shouted Allahu Akbar and killed 8 people? Why would you do that? They're never going to condemn Islam, right? Watch the news. Like, these people are so ignorant. And then notice they all freak out. They put their cameras on me and they're going to run stories about some hateful conservative Islamophobe who asked a Muslim girl to denounce the terrorist attack. What is so wrong about that? What is so wrong? I work for the New York Times. Okay. Yeah, so is it the official statements or the official policy of the New York Times to not disavow Islamic terrorism? Is it? I really want to know. I asked her, I was like, are you going to do you disavow this attack? As a Muslim woman, do you disavow this attack? Look, guys, look where we are. We're right in front of the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
I'm using this attack to promote my hatred. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, because actually holding people accountable and forcing the narrative, right? The only way the mainstream media is going to have this discussion is if you force them to have this discussion. So if it takes me getting in the face of some hijabi and asking her, hey, do you denounce this terrorist attack that just took place in the name of Islam in front of the World Trade Center? Then I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask her, because I'm getting really sick and tired of the media just being complicit, right? They don't want to promote what? Islamophobia. There's literally no such thing as Islamophobia, okay? A phobia is an irrational fear, and it's not irrational to fear something that wants to kill you. It's not irrational to fear something that is literally mowing people down on Halloween. It's not irrational. So look, people are gonna freak out. I'll probably be, on some front page of some liberal publication being called a hateful Islamophobe, but someone needs to say it. It sure as hell isn't gonna be the New York Times. I'm fed up. I mean, if this is what it takes. If I have to get in the face of women wearing hijabs in front of the World Trade Center where this terrorist attack just took place and ask them to denounce this Islamic terrorist attack in front of all of the mainstream media, that is what I'm going to do. I don't care if I'm called a bigot. I don't care if they call me hateful or say that I'm, some alt-right Nazi, which is what they always call me, even though I'm Jewish, right? I don't care. I'm over it. I'm over it. And I keep on showing you this tower because I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see what these people do, right? They celebrate imagery of 9/11, 9/11 symbolism. Do you think this guy just randomly picked the corner of Chambers Street and Greenwich Street to commit this attack? No, he wanted people and the reporters and all of the news cameras to have a view of the World Trade Center, of the Freedom Tower, while they were reporting on this. These people are sick. They're demented, okay? They're sick. They want you to see this. They want you to see the World Trade Center. They want to put it in your face and tell you that this is what they did. Again, New York Times refusing to disavow.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Don't put your hands on me.
Leave her alone.
Do you work for the New York Times too?
No. I'm flattered that you accept that. No, not really.
I don't understand why people are so upset. I'm just asking her to disavow this act of Islamic terrorism, which she's refusing to do. It's very simple to say I
No,
disavow.
you weren't just doing just that. You were completely, like insulting the entire religion. It has nothing.
Oh, because attributing this attack to Islam is insulting when the guy shouted Allahu Akbar? How is that insulting? Are you aware that the guy shouted Allahu Akbar right in front of the World Trade Center?
With her?
Because I'm asking her.
Why are you asking anyone else?
Because she's a Muslim, and I'm asking her, does she disavow? I want to
She wants to be
know.
left alone, so just leave her
I
alone.
want to know.
Leave her alone.
I'm
She
really
just wants to be
interested
left
in
alone.
knowing if the Muslims who live in New York City disavow the terrorist attack.
Okay.
She won't answer.
Because she wants to be left alone, like any other person.
So why do you believe
Why
that?
aren't you asking anyone else about this?
Why do you
Why are you pointing her
they're
out?
bad people?
I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm simply asking her to disavow the act of terrorism that was just taking place in the name of Islam today, and she won't do it.
How about what happened in Las Vegas?
She's not going to do
Christian,
it.
right?
She's not going to do it.
The guy that
Why
shot
won't she do
50
it?
The guy that shot over 50 something.
I mean, I think it's
an injured
extremely,
over 500.
I think it's really,
He's a Christian too.
especially shameful of the New York Times to be hiring people who are refusing to condemn Islamic terrorism.
How about Christian, the guy that shot someone too?
It's all hearsay. It's all hearsay. You don't know what the fuck happened.
The NYPD said people saw him shout Allahu
You trust
Akbar.
NYPD?
They shouted Allahu
Get the
Akbar.
fuck
He
outta
shouted
here, man. You
Allahu
don't know what you're
Akbar.
talking about. You don't know what you're talking
Do Christians and Jews shout Allahu Akbar? Who shouts Allahu
Okay,
Akbar?
okay, don't you?
Who does
He's on the
it?
religion.
Did you hear that though?
Who does it?
Did you hear him?
Who shouts Allahu Akbar? Can anyone tell me?
That's not confirmed. That's just something that's a report.
Can anyone tell me who shouts Allahu Akbar before committing an act of terrorism or after? No one wants to say it. The answer is Muslims, right? People who practice Islam. They cannot say it. It's like they're frozen. They're petrified. They're so scared of being labeled politically incorrect or offensive or like a bigot. They can't say it. They just don't want to say it. They can't say it. They literally just won't say it. They won't admit it. Like I'm just looking for one reporter who will admit it. Literally no one is willing to say it. These are all of the reporters, the mainstream reporters in New York City, right, who get paid by mainstream outlets like the New York Times, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and literally none of them are willing to admit it. I mean, I just don't get it. Who shouts Allahu Akbar before committing an act of terrorism? Who? It's not Christians and it's not Jews, so who is it? Who is it? I really just want someone to say it. No one wants to say it. You know, and they're trying to make it seem like I'm the crazy one, but they are just living in this alternate universe, right? This PC universe, and they just don't want to admit it. I don't understand. Why won't Muslims condemn Islamic terrorist attacks? She literally works for the New York Times and she's refusing to condemn this act of terrorism. I'm not trying to be a nasty person. I just really want to know, why won't she condemn this act of terrorism? She works for the New York Times and she's wearing a hijab on scene and she won't say I disavow. She won't say it. If you think I'm a nasty person, then get off the stream. I don't care what you think. I'm more concerned about the future of my country. If I have kids someday, I don't want them to be mowed down on Halloween by some Muslim, right? I don't. I don't want, someone I love or someone I care about, or just, I don't care if it's someone I love or care about. I don't want regular people, just innocent people who are trying to enjoy Halloween and take a nice bike ride to be mowed down by some Muslim. I approached her, I asked her nicely, do you disavow? And she laughed. It's like, why would you laugh at something like that? They laughed on 9/11. They laughed when San Bernardino happened. If you ever pay attention to like the Al Jazeera Facebook page or like the Al Jazeera live streams, you see all these laughing faces anytime anything like this happens. So many, because they love it. And none of these reporters are willing to condemn it. They think I'm crazy because I'm asking a girl in a hijab to condemn an act of Islamic terrorism. Well, there you have it, guys. 8 people killed at the moment by an Islamic terrorist, and the mainstream media is not willing to condemn it. They're not willing to disavow. The New York Times reporter on the scene, they sent a reporter with a hijab on the scene to report this, and she won't even disavow. I'm trying to divide. You know what's divisive? You know what's divisive? Coming to this country, refusing to assimilate, running people over with your car and shooting them, and shouting Allahu Akbar. That's divisive. You know? That is what division is. You know, like, how am I being divisive? Because I'm saying what everyone is thinking, but no one wants to say. Someone has to say it. No one wants to admit these things. No one wants to have this discussion about how toxic this ideology is, and how policies like promoted by Bill de Blasio, right? How his policies and the policies of the Democrats are directly responsible for attacks like homophobe for wanting to protect our country. I mean, this is the result, right? I mean, look, the details still need to come out about who this guy is and everything, but it's pretty obvious he's a Muslim. I mean, NYPD said and witnesses said that he was shouting Allahu Akbar when he was getting out of his car. So I mean, I don't see people coming from Israel or, you know, coming from non-Muslim countries committing these horrible crimes in the name of their religion. I just don't.
Yep, got it.
His name and pics are out. For those of you, put his name in the stream for me, please, because I can't access the internet right now when I'm on Periscope, or else it's going to cut out. Been here since 2010. Okay, so he's a byproduct of Islamic immigration. Great, wonderful. Yeah, where's the Muslim outcry disavowing this sort of behavior? Well, I'll tell you, they just don't want to do it. The reporter for the New York Times, who they intentionally sent a reporter wearing a hijab to cover this story, right? I mean, it's just so disrespectful. I'm so tired of people forcing their Islamic ideology down my throat and, you know, refusing to show respect. It's just disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Why would you do that? Why would you show up to a terrorist attack site wearing a hijab and refuse to disavow Islamic terrorism? I mean, I know I'm not the only one who thinks this. And I'm not going to stop, you know? This is the luxury of being an independent journalist. I don't work for the mainstream media, okay? I can say and do whatever I want. I can say these types of things without worrying about being fired, right? I don't take a paycheck from CNN or MSNBC or CNN. I don't have to listen to them when they say, oh, don't say that, that's too offensive. Or, oh, don't jump to conclusions, we don't want to be hateful. You know, I don't have to respond to them. I'm crowdsourced by the people. So I can say whatever I want, right? And I'm going to say whatever I want. I'm going to speak truth, and I'm going to raise these issues and, you know, confront members of the mainstream media about these topics, because we need to have this discussion. We need to have this discussion. Everyone's looking at me like, wow, is she really saying this? Yeah, I'm really saying it. I mean, why aren't all the other reporters who have bigger platforms than I do, why aren't they saying these things? Why aren't they raising these questions? Right? Fox News is here. They're not even doing it. I mean, look, you have Geraldo Rivera put out a tweet today, and he's like, oh, the guy looked like Bin Laden. He shouted Allahu Akbar. Great. You know, like, at Fox News, they're willing to say, yeah, this guy shouted Allahu Akbar. They're willing to call it terrorism. But are they willing to confront New York Times reporters wearing hijabs, standing outside of the World Trade Center, you know, laughing? I mean, she was laughing. Watch the video. She literally was laughing. I want to know why that's acceptable. Why is it acceptable for the New York Times to send a woman in a hijab to cover an Islamic terrorist attack and then have her laugh? They do it on purpose. I mean, you guys, It's a 2-minute walk from the World Trade Center. I just want you to see this because it's done on purpose. They want to remind us of what happened in this city, right? They want to remind everybody of what happened. We are under attack, okay? And I'm getting tired of like Department of Homeland Security and the FBI and, you know, all of our intelligence agencies trying to tell us, look, oh, you don't have to worry. Like, they're not planning attacks. They're not trying to attack you. What are they going to do? Tell us, oh yeah, this guy was on our radar for a few months. We were watching him, but unfortunately we just didn't get him in time. Like they always do. I mean, why are they trying to tell people that we're not under attack? Why are they trying to tell people that ISIS and other Islamic terrorist organizations, I'm not saying this was ISIS, but it's obviously an Islamic terrorist attack. Why are they trying to convince people that this isn't here? Right? Donald Trump was the one who was doing it, and everybody is trying to attack him. They're trying to ruin Donald Trump. They're trying to dismantle his entire presidency. They're trying to take him down because he's the only one, right? And not even then, he has people in his cabinet who are trying to censor him and, you know, tell him not to say things like this. But he was our only hope, the only one who was addressing issues like this and telling us what was here, right? Telling us that we were going to have another 9/11, telling us that we were going to be under attack in New York City again. I'm just fed up. I hate I hate living here sometimes, right? Because it's so liberal, and the media here, it's the media hub of the world, or one of them at least. And you know, all these reporters, they just look at you, they just stare. Like the story here, right? The thing that you should be excited or, you know, trying to uncover or talk about is the fact that you have an Islamic terrorist who committed an act of terrorism in the name of Islam, right in front of the World Trade Center. And then you have people in full Muslim garb who are laughing. But instead, what are they going to do? Oh, I'm going to become the story. They're going to put the cameras in my face because I'm going to have the nerve to actually question them and ask them, do you disavow? Right? I mean, they're all sensational. They don't care about the truth. They want to have another story about, oh, a hateful conservative targeting some Muslim girl. That's not it. You know? She can wear her hijab. She can be Muslim, that's fine. But why are you laughing? And why won't you say, she could at least say, I disavow. Why, if she is a moderate Muslim and if Islam is not the religion of pieces, right? Why won't she just say, I disavow? It's really not that hard to do. It's really not. All she has to say is, I disavow, but she won't do it. She won't. I'm not asking her to not be a Muslim anymore, okay? I'm just asking her, will you disavow this act of terrorism that was committed in the name of Islam?
Yeah.
And she won't do it. She laughed, and then she said, I work for the New York Times. Like, cool. So what? Your press badge and the fact that you work for the New York Times just gives you like a badge to be ignorant and laugh at the scene of a terrorist attack? I mean, is that the privilege? Is that what you call New York Times privilege, right? Being able to laugh while wearing a hijab, laugh at an Islamic terrorist attack? She couldn't answer it. It's a very simple question, okay? Hateful, right? Like if I were to have said, hey, take your hijab off or stop being Muslim, okay, I could understand why people would maybe like be a little upset. But I just asked her to disavow. I said, you're wearing a hijab and you obviously are Muslim, right? Muslims wear hijabs. So will you disavow? And she just wouldn't do it. Sorry if it's like, I'm trying to get the angle okay, but I'm trying to get in the lighting too, because it is really dark, so I would flip it over, but then you wouldn't be able to really see much. So, do you guys have any questions? I mean, thoughts, comments? I know there are people who think I'm a horrible person for doing this, but it needs to be done. Someone needs to say this. Someone needs to do it. I did talk to her like a human being, okay? We need to stop beating around the bushes. I'm not going to go light or, be politically correct. I'm tired of, giving people a pass just because they're wearing a hijab on their head. Wearing a hijab doesn't mean I need to talk to you, with less seriousness or be less direct with you, okay? I'm tired of this. This is America. Okay, we assimilate here. We're all equal, right? So if we're all equal, why do I have to talk to the girl with the hijab differently? Just because what? She's a New York Times reporter and she's Muslim? Do you think I care? Do you think I give a shit? Because I don't. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush or be politically correct or call this road rage. It's terrorism, okay? And I don't think it's inappropriate to ask Muslims to disavow. Okay, if you're going to be practicing a religion that calls for the killing of all infidels, right, Christians and Jews, anybody who doesn't want to submit to Islam, then you are required every single time there is a terrorist attack to disavow. Okay? I don't understand why people want to practice Islam, right? I would not want to practice a religion that preaches, the killing of anybody who doesn't want to submit, a supremacist religion. I just wouldn't want to do that, right? I have a conscience. I wouldn't want to, practice a religion that views women, as having less rights than some animals, right? I mean, they treat goats better than they treat women. They treat animals better than they treat women, right? They're disgusting the way they treat gays. I mean, I just don't understand what is appealing about Islam. Can someone just give me one thing? Can you tell me one thing that makes Islam appealing? One thing. Can someone just tell me one thing that makes Islam worth practicing? I mean, what is so great about worshiping a misogynistic pedophile, right? A guy who liked to have sex with 9-year-old girls. Can someone tell me? Anybody? Can anyone tell me? I just want to know. I mean, I don't get it. Oh, I didn't attack her. I asked her a question. Oh, go ahead. I'm just filming frontwards. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I'm not filming this way. I'm filming frontwards. Yeah, you can go ahead. Sorry. Sorry my feet keeps getting cut, but look, we need to have this conversation. There are schools that are getting evacuated on Halloween. I mean, just imagine being in your school, your elementary classroom, wearing a Halloween costume, like all these 5-year-old kids or, elementary school children, and they're wearing their princess costumes, their superhero costumes, trying to have fun, eat candy, have a good time, and then boom, you have to be evacuated, just like what happened on 9/11 because there's a terrorist attack. I mean, is that the kind of country we want to live in? That's the world that we're living in right now, right? These Democrats like Bill de Blasio, people like Angela Merkel, all of these globalist leaders who really just don't care about anything but their own personal interests and their own financial gains, they're putting us at risk. They're putting your children at risk. They're putting our country at risk, and they're trying to turn us into third world Islamic hellholes. Okay? They don't understand that Sharia law, right? Sharia law, it's not compatible with democracy. It's not compatible with the United States Constitution. It's not compatible with American values. It's not. So, I mean, I'm not going to apologize, right? People can be offended. I'm not going to allow myself to live in a world and live in a city where people want to force me to be quiet for the comfort of other people. My life is more important than your feelings, okay? My life is more important than your feelings. I am not going to censor myself and not speak out against this. I'm not going to, stop speaking out against Islam and Islamic terrorism until something changes. I'm just not. Let me flip it around. Let them be offended. I don't care. Right. They won't even say anything. Did you see how I asked them? I asked all of them, who shouts Allahu Akbar before committing an act of terrorism? Muslims, Christians, or Jews? And they would not answer. Literally, you have people from Fox News, you have people from CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, like literally every single outlet, every single media organization is probably here right now, and no one would say it. No one has the balls or the nerve to actually admit it. They don't want to admit it. You want to watch the stream?
Yeah, like what I'm interested.
I'm on Twitter at Laura Loomer. So I'm doing a Periscope right now, but
Laura Loomer.
Loomer.
Okay.
And I know you were arguing with me and you don't agree with me.
I was
but
not.
look, like we need to have this discussion, right?
We do.
Because this took place. What are we in front of right now?
Right.
What are we standing in
This
front
certainly
of?
deserves discussion, but
Right, but what are we
don't
standing
wanna
in?
jump
What are we?
into-
But what are we standing in front of right now?
9/11.
We're standing in 9/11. And do you think that it was a coincidence or just an accident that some
Of course not.
Muslim decided he's a Muslim? He's a Muslim immigrant. That's been confirmed. Okay, so that's already out there. That's confirmed. It's not like we're jumping to conclusions. So do you think that it is a coincidence that they decided to do this right across the street from where we had the worst terrorist attack in U.S. history?
No, of course not. A real terrorist would want to, put fear into the heart at the
This
perfect
guy
timing.
is a real terrorist.
Right.
I mean, he killed people on Halloween. People are trying to enjoy Halloween. This is supposed to be a fun day where people get dressed up. We're supposed to have a nice parade today. Do you think people are going to want to bring their kids to a parade in the street when they have to worry about Muslims running people over in trucks?
Whoever did this obviously did it at the time where people will be scared. That's the point of terrorism.
But the thing about it is they're not willing to admit that this is Islamic terrorism.
Who's they though? Who's they?
The media is not willing to disavow, and that's my problem here. Is that the media likes to come out here and record everything, and they stand in front of the camera, they do their little stand-ups, and they just talk. But what is going to change? When is Bill de Blasio going to actually enact policies, right, that prevent the importation of people who are going to do things like this? I mean, did you guys vote for Donald Trump? Do you support Donald Trump? After learning that this guy came to this country in 2010 and he's a Muslim, do you support the ban?
Nor the right.
Wait, what did you learn about 2010? What did
People are saying that the guy who committed this act of terrorism came here in 2010 to this country. So
interesting.
So what I want to know. So he had a green card. Oh well, but when you see this and you know that this guy shouted Allahu Akbar, does it make you want to support Donald Trump's ban or the restriction of immigration from Islamic countries?
I would, at first I want to help to restrict that.
But don't you think that's necessary? Do you think that's necessary? Hey.
It's certainly a discussion that we need to have.
Right. And do you think that it's fair for the members of the mainstream media, like the New York Times, who decided to send their reporter in a hijab to cover this terrorist attack? Do you think that it's appropriate for them to tell people that they're hateful, they're Islamophobic, they're bigots, simply because they want to have tougher immigration or they want to have this discussion?
We need to have proper investigation before we, we need to do the proper, real investigation. We need to get the facts together before we jump to these conclusions. I mean, listen, man, anybody can scream out Allahu Akbar. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're a crazy, Muslim.
I think you just
well,
write that in
I think that probably 99.99% of the time when someone screams Allahu Akbar and kills people, it's a Muslim. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play these games, like these semantic games and these media games that they want you to play, where we say, well, we can't really say if this guy's a Muslim. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's a Muslim.
Hey, man,
So-
I mean, listen.
So why do you think they're not automatically saying that, or they're not saying that he's a Muslim?
It's not that I'm not saying that, but you have the reporter, and I simply asked her, I said, will you disavow? She's obviously Muslim. She's wearing a hijab. I asked her.
wasn't a Muslim.
I asked her. Well, ISIS took responsibility, right? And then the FBI.
Doesn't mean that
The FBI said they didn't do it, but ISIS did take responsibility. So, you can't really say, the investigation in Vegas hasn't even been complete. You can't say that guy wasn't a Muslim. And to be quite honest, I mean, how do we know he's not a Muslim? ISIS took responsibility.
He was 64 years old.
But so what? Being 64 years old means you can't be a Muslim?
He had been an American since
You can be an American and Muslim. You can be an American and Muslim. There are American Muslims.
there was no evidence of it.
Right. I mean,
There still was no evidence.
what do you want to find? What do you want to look at? I mean,
It just
he was
seems
a
like you're
Muslim.
quick to rush to the conclusion that...
I'm not jumping to any conclusions. This guy literally shouted Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, but you read that from a source. You know what I mean?
The NYPD witnesses. I mean, how long do we have to wait? What do you consider to be a good source? CNN, New York Times.
Me, myself, and I.
Okay, so you're gonna be the one to tell me that this guy shouted Allahu
because I
Akbar?
don't know that he did it. You know what I mean?
So how are we? You're telling me that
These
I can't
things
go
could
off
be-
of what the
thing is,
NYPD
like,
said or
it's-
what
right.
witnesses said.
So it easily fits the narrative of the Muslim terrorist when somebody yells Allahu Akbar before killing innocent people. But they'll do that on purpose so that they continue the agenda against the Muslim religion.
I
because
don't
that's
know.
exactly
I
what's
think that
happening.
there's like a legitimate concern and a legitimate threat. To say that that's a false narrative and that the media is making up stories about Muslims killing people, I mean, that's absurd. I mean, that's just
Well, they have been
that's
caught
absurd.
doing it. The
Yeah, they
FBI
just did it. So I'm not buying that.
Yeah, but this is just unfolding, so I
I'm not going to buy that when you're saying that this is a false narrative. He clearly shouted Allahu Akbar and ran people over.
I said the FBI was caught doing and inflaming plots and then foiling them, making pretend that other people
Look,
were
this whole conversation is the result of me simply asking a Muslim reporter if she disavows this act of terrorism, and she would not answer. She laughed at me.
Yeah.
She laughed at me. I mean, do you think that's appropriate to laugh?
It's pretty confrontational to do that to someone on the street.
Well,
though.
it may be confrontational, but someone needs to ask these questions. Like, why are we not allowing people when there's ISIS, there's Islamic terrorists in all 50 states, right? They're being radicalized in mosques here in New York City, right? Why can't we have that conversation? Even if it's confrontational, why does it matter? Are we supposed to avoid confrontation for the sake of not talking about truth?
No, absolutely
You can hold
not.
the confrontation you want. You want to both get rid of the First Amendment, we can do that.
I'm not saying get
Get
rid of the
freedom of
first.
religion,
I mean, it sounds like
get
these
rid of that
reporters.
too.
It sounds like these reporters want me to, get rid of my First Amendment right because they're so outraged over me simply asking a Muslim journalist who works for the fake news New York Times whether or not she's willing to disavow an act of Islamic terrorism. That's my question. That's all I want to know.
You learn Southern?
No.
You look like her. You look exactly like her.
That's not.
So listen. My thing is here. I don't support neither the left nor the right. I'm into doing my own research. Now, the FBI has been caught red-handed plenty of times, meddling.
I agree.
Hiring agents.
I agree.
Working with Islamics.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
To bomb buildings and whatnot.
I completely agree with you. The FBI is not trustworthy.
Before I want to blame radical Islam, I'm gonna always look at the FBI themselves, the NYPD for conspiring.
Amen to that.
Times,
Amen to that.
for example, the 1993 the bombing here, the FBI was caught red-handed. They had the opportunity to foil the plot, and they actually they were in touch with one of the I don't know his name right now.
Rambo Youth.
That was him, right? And they had the opportunity to switch the bombs up. They didn't, do the research, man. I'm not really good at speaking. I'm on your stream, but do the research. World Trade Center 93 FBI trial, all right? Oklahoma City bombing. Come on.
But
This has been going on for a long time.
Okay,
now.
and while I agree with you, the FBI is not entirely trustworthy. My question was, it was very simple. Like, that wasn't my question, was whether or not we could trust the FBI. My question was, I asked a Muslim woman, do you disavow?
She got offended.
Yeah, but why would she be offended? Why?
Because listen, you can't bunch every Muslim into the radical terror.
It's not.
group. You can't
If
do
somebody
that. And
asked,
she felt
if a Jew committed an act of terrorism like this, and someone asked me to disavow, I would disavow.
Right.
I wouldn't be
So would I.
offended.
So would I.
mean, I would disavow the act of terrorism in the name of my in the name of my religion. But the thing is, like, we don't see Jews doing this. We don't see it. So then why won't they admit it? If you just answered my question. If most of them do, why will they not publicly say I disavow?
I don't know. It's a good question.
She got
It's
offended.
a good question.
She
You
got
agree,
offended.
right?
That's why.
Don't you think it's a very simple question for me to ask her? Do you disavow this act of Islamic terrorism?
Yes, but
put somebody on the spot.
You can ask, why would you pick that person to ask? You can
Because
ask
she's
anybody on the
Muslim.
street.
Because she's clearly Muslim. So I'm asking her. You
I
just
believe
agreed.
that most Muslims, most Jews, most Gentiles will disavow radical Islamic terrorism.
But do you think?
And we'll call it.
Okay,
that.
great. That's great. But do you think though, if that's the case, if you really believe that, and you're saying that most Muslims, don't you think she should have then said I disavow? If she
I
really
don't know.
is, if
Maybe she was
she's
put
not
on the
if she's
spot.
not a radical Islamist herself, don't you think that she should have said I disavow?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
It doesn't matter if you were there. It's a hypothetical situation. If
It's common sense, though. Of
it's
course,
common
of
sense,
course.
it's
I mean,
common sense, right? You would
you
disavow.
put her on the spot. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Okay, but people. The thing about it is you have to put people on the spot because if you give them time to formulate an answer, they're not going to be honest
But
with
are
you.
you going to
have
go around asking every Muslim journalist or reporter?
Why not? I think that they all should. I think that anybody who's going to practice a religion that teaches people to, submit and kill people who don't want to, subscribe to Islam, I think that they are required to
That's what
disavow.
Islam actually
Religion, they're
It does. It does.
No, that's what like a sect of Islam believes. That's
there's
like
you can't be
disuse from the
interpreting the Quran. It clearly says to.
I mean, do all Christians believe that you should like start a?
But are Christians going around mowing people down in cars saying Allahu
What
Akbar?
about the Crusades?
Oh, the Crusades! Wow, so long ago. We're
I'd
going to
say
talk
you're
about
honestly
the
not. You're
Crusades.
like scum. Like you're not even.
No.
Oh, I'm scum. I'm serious. I'm asking you. Every single day, this is happening in the world. There you go.
Yeah.
Another SJW
Just
reporter.
called you a name and then just left. Like that's not.
The Crusades. Okay, yeah, the Crusades. We're going to talk about something that happened so long ago.
Well, at least you got a crowd for me here. That's good. Have a conversation going.
She won't even admit it. They run away.
She was really offended by what you said and just left. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because they can't handle.
Right.
It's not that she's offended. It's she's not intelligent. She doesn't want to admit that she's wrong, and that Islam does. It does teach. It does teach submission, and it teaches people to kill people who don't want to worship Allah, right? The Prophet Muhammad. That's what it teaches. There's no denying that. I mean, do I need to pull up verses from the Quran and read them to people here so that they can understand that it literally does teach that?
Maybe you do. Maybe you should do that. I mean, maybe it would help.
I mean, do I need to pass out flyers of verses in the Quran to members of the mainstream media?
Probably should. It helps. What do you help?
It helps, right?
to wake
I don't
people
work
up.
for anyone. I'm independent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the other journalists are jealous.
You think they're jealous?
Yes, they're jealous because you're so good looking.
Thank
No,
you.
because she's actually engaging.
Well, no, I'm engaging. I mean, look, people find this offensive, but the truth hurts, right? The truth is ugly. Sometimes the truth is going to be offensive, but just because the truth offends people doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. So, look, we're in New York City. This is a very liberal place. People don't want to have conversations. You get shunned professionally, you get fired, you're blacklisted if you talk about things like this in this city, right? But this is a conversation we need to have. And just because the mainstream media, and all of their liberal sycophants who kissed Bill de Blasio's ass and, did pay-for-play stories for the Democrats and Hillary Clinton, just because they don't want to admit this and point out the obvious, doesn't mean I'm not going to.
Why aren't the journalists being allowed near the scene?
They never are. They never are at a time like this.
When you ask me who I work for, I don't work for the mainstream media. I work for the people, right? This is what the people think. This is really what people think in this country.
Wait, what you think?
I mean, not everybody. I wouldn't say, but there's a lot of people who believe what I believe.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a live stream right now. You can see.
It's amazing.
You can see that the comments are coming in, and there are people who don't agree with me, but there are people who agree with me, and not everyone has to agree. That's fine. But I don't care if they agree. I'm still gonna say what I want to say.
I admire that, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah. But the thing is, here's the thing. The whole the Quran teaches, inspires Islamic terrorism. That's a very slippery slope.
I don't think it is.
All right, that's okay.
I don't think it is. I mean, when it's pretty clear cut when you have something that says cast the heads, cast the fingers off, right? I mean, I would look it up right now. I just don't want to cut the stream because people are enjoying the stream right now. But
there are Muslim scholars who would approach you if there was one here and would say you're just giving into the what's the word
it's not though because
hysteria.
It's not the hysteria because if it's just hysteria, why is it that every single day in Germany and Sweden and France it's terrible, right?
No, I know.
They're importing these people. They have it the
Europe.
worst.
Absolutely. Sweden,
so you're aware of that.
Germany, yeah. I mean, there's a big problem with the Islamic population there.
Right. And what is that the result of? Do you know?
Well, all the imperialistic wars that we've been fighting.
No, why are they coming into Europe though? Do you know why the Muslims are coming in?
Because they're just willy-nilly being allowed in massive numbers without any recourse for checking and vetting them. Absolutely.
And don't you think that that's problematic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you think it's the liberals who are allowing that?
It is the liberals. It's people like Bill de Blasio.
So there's
it's
no
people like
Republicans?
Bill de Blasio, Rahm Emanuel, people who have created sanctuary cities to allow for people.
Chicago?
yeah, I mean, Chicago, you have Las Vegas, you have Los Angeles, you have all these major cities in the world that are terrorist targets, right? But nobody's really doing anything to vet the people who are coming in. They're protecting them, right? They're disagreeing with law enforcement when people want to like detain them, when people want to arrest them for either being illegal or, you know, they're protecting the wrong people.
Absolutely, and then one of them is going to slip through the cracks, and eventually they're going to blame, you know, they're going to commit an act, and then we're going to blame the liberals for keeping the borders open and not vetting these people enough. That's it. That is a major problem.
It is. So why aren't we having that discussion?
It's a different conversation in New York, you know, than in Europe.
Right, but it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Do you think the problem has gotten to that point?
It's already at that point. It's already at this point. We should not on Halloween.
Today, right?
And it happens every day all over the world, but the media doesn't want to cover it. Every single day this happens. You know that, right? Whether it be in the Middle East or whether it be in Europe, every single day there's either a terrorist attack that's being foiled. There's someone who's raping someone, like an Islamic immigrant, right?
Yeah.
There's you know, ISIS is killing people. They're radicalizing people. People are going overseas. This happens every day.
Okay.
So, I don't think it's wrong to ask people to disavow. And like all of the reporters want to interview all of the Muslims, but like they just don't.
Right.
You know, they want to make them look like victims. Like the real victims are the people who were mowed down today, right, by an Islamic terrorist, not the girl wearing a hijab.
Can I read what somebody said just about that comment right now? How is this? I'm not gonna do that.
Like I said, you're gonna ask me to smoke a split with you and get a Heineken.
Well,
But like you guys clearly were very upset with what I said, and you guys tried to push me out of the way. But now,
I didn't push you out of the way.
But now, no, the other individual did. But I just want to ask you, after having this conversation, do you really think it was so far-fetched of me to ask her to disavow?
Honestly, no, it wasn't. But I mean, how many people are you gonna go up to and do that? You know,
As many as I have to.
really?
Yeah, why
Tonight?
not? I mean, why not?
Okay. I wish you luck. What's your name?
Laura.
Jason. Oh, so you're not Laura Southern. Nice meeting you, Laura.
Bye.
Laura.
What's your name? Laura Loomer.
Michael. Loomer.
Yeah, what's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Great.
Oh, Loomer on Twitter.
Yeah,
Okay.
Laura Loomer.
Hey, take care.
God
No,
bless
not all blondes are the same.
you. Thank God for that.
I know, everyone thinks all the blondes are the same. So look. There you have it. I think I just red pilled those guys. They were upset and they thought I was being so offensive when I asked the girl in the hijab to disavow. And after having a conversation, they're like, you know what? That's really not that unreasonable to ask her to disavow.
Oh, hello again.
Hi. I mean, if you watch the stream later, when this is over, you'll see they freaked out on me. They're like, leave her alone. Stop being so mean. Stop attacking her. And at the end of this conversation, they agree with me.
Reporter.
Yeah, I'm a reporter. What?
She saw everything.
She's what? Oh, you saw everything? Do you want to, it's like a live stream. Do you want to tell me what happened? Did you see it too?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'd love to talk to you over here in the light, if you don't mind. Sorry, let's come over here where it's quiet. Hold on. What's your name? Sorry.
I'm Fatima.
Fatima?
Yes, my
So-
name is Fatima. So I was in the class at BMCC.
At where?
At BMCC, I go to BMCC and I was in 6th floor. And we was gonna have a party in there, and I just heard my classmates, they started screaming that, oh, there's a gunshot, there's a gunshot. And once we looked down, there was 2 bodies was laying down in the street, and everybody was running.
Right.
And police was coming, and they was running too with the gun, the police people. And then we saw police was rushing to cover the body, and it was just so horrible. Our body started shaking because honestly I never saw something like this before.
Did you see the guy shoot or drive over people?
No. like we just saw the van. The minivan was just sitting there, and
Right.
it was all crashed. I don't know how it happened. Probably by something, like it got hit. We just saw the dead body. It was 2 dead bodies that we
Two.
saw.
How many bodies were on the ground?
Two
Just-
dead bodies.
They said 8 people died, but were there
We only saw 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, from 6th floor, we only
Right.
could see like half of the thing, so we only saw 2 dead bodies.
Uh-huh. Did you hear him shout Allahu Akbar?
No, that time like we was like our class, like as I said, we was gonna have a party, so our class was loud, so we did not hear it. Like I was sitting in the front, so people who was sitting in the back next to the window, probably they heard it, and everybody started screaming. We were just standing still, like we don't know what to say, because we all got so shocked. Like no way, this can happen.
Right. Where are you from?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Where? Bangladesh.
Yes.
Bangladesh. So you guys have like a lot of like, you know, like a Muslim population there, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what does it, how does it make you feel knowing that this was
It
the
made
act of
me-
Islamic terrorism?
I don't know what if it was a terrorism or what, but
Oh, it was. The guy shouted Allahu Akbar. It's terrorism.
I'm not sure, but it made me feel so upset, and honestly my body is still shaking. As I said, I never witnessed something like this before. It was horrible, and it like I had to go to my next class, but for the whole next class I was just thinking about the same thing. I could not take it away. Like
Right.
no, it was very sad. It was very
Yeah, it's
upset.
horrible. Did you guys end up having your party?
No, we did not have party. The food was just sitting there.
Right.
It was not even more to eat.
Yeah, because you can't have a party after watching something like that.
No. Even
Yeah.
we were supposed to hand in a project, but we did not. 'Cause
Yeah.
everybody was speechless just there.
It's horrible. I mean, I'm so sorry you had to see something like that.
Thank
But
you.
you know, thanks for sharing
No
your
problem.
story with me.
No
Thank you.
problem.
So that's sad. You know, girl in college just trying to have a Halloween party and has to see 2 dead bodies. It's really disgusting. No, she's not Muslim. She said she's from Bangladesh, where they do have a Muslim population.
We have a live witness over there talking to detectives.
Where?
Wait till
Over
he's
here.
finished.
Oh boy. This is just very shameful. Like, what do these reporters get paid to do? Honestly, I really don't get it. Like, they're all standing around. They're all just talking. It's like they're trying to construct a narrative.
Wait till he's finished.
Oh no, yeah. Which one is the witness? The guy with the headphones?
It is what it is, right?
Hello, how are you? Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
How are you?
Oh, my name's Laura Loomer. I'm an independent journalist. I just heard that you're a witness, so I'm interested in what you may have seen.
Well, the only thing I saw is just disarray by BMCC officer drag us inside the campus.
You go to school here?
Yeah,
At BCC or?
BMCC.
Did you see bodies? Did you see the guy running people over?
No, unfortunately not.
Did you hear gunshots?
The only thing we heard it was gunshot, and then everyone in public safety yelling, get inside, and screams. That is it.
How does it make you feel knowing that he shouted Allahu Akbar when they took him out of the vehicle?
I prefer not to remember it.
Prefer, yeah. It's traumatic. I understand. Well, look, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, it's really sad. So, well, thank you. I'm sure you're, tired of talking to people, but have a good night. Sorry you had to go through that. Oh, it's so sad, People shouldn't have to witness this. It's Halloween. People are trying to have a fun time. Yeah, he prefers not to remember. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not supposed to be normalized. We're not supposed to live in a society where we're supposed to get used to Muslims ramming people over with cars, shouting Allahu Akbar. I mean, of course he doesn't want to remember it. This isn't what this country, you know, these are not American values. This is not what this country is supposed to stand for. So why should he have to feel like this is normalized? I mean, unfortunately, it is becoming normalized, right?
Me neither.
No, we don't forget that it happens. I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't want to forget this. I think that things like this need to be remembered and people need to like be forced to address these issues. But, you know, it's not something that a lot of people can process, and you can't really blame a lot of people for not being able to process it because this isn't normal. Like, people shouldn't have to be okay with experiencing Muslims mowing people down in cars and killing people, right? It's not normal. Smith over there. It's crazy. Everyone's just so silent, you know? I mean, could you imagine what it must be like to be over at the tower right now, the memorial for 9/11, and to be there and like have this happen like 5 minutes away from you? Oh boy. Well, look, we need to have these conversations.
Catherine says we can safely report his green card. We expect to see it be her in 2010. And then sometime in the last 5 years, we moved to New Jersey. As recently as this summer, he was able to drive friends describe him as a good guy, as I always do.
So you have Shepard Smith over here saying the guy came here from Uzbekistan and was a green card holder, and then he just said, oh, neighbors are describing him as a good guy, and then he goes, as they always do. I mean, even the members of the media know this is total bullshit. But watch, are they going to say that on television tonight? Are they going to tell you, oh yeah, no, they're going to say, oh, neighbors said he was a good guy. You know, this Muslim guy was just like an everyday guy. They're not going to tell you the truth. I mean, it's even obvious just listening to them in their conversations that they're not buying this bullshit.
Hey, do you know?
But no one wants to have this conversation. I mean, I'm literally like listening to Shepard Smith talk right now, and we'll see. We'll see if the Fox News reporting goes along with what he just said. I mean, he even rolled his eyes and was like, oh yeah, they said he was a good guy, as they always do. So they know. It's like, they don't even believe the stuff they're reporting. They're saying, oh yeah, he's a good guy. But obviously he's not a good guy if he's going to come to this country and just, you know, mow people over with a truck in the name of Islam. But, you know, the media loves covering for Muslims. Let's put on our makeup and look pretty for camera.
Ready whenever you are.
I just want to show you guys how the news is constructed in real life. They're getting phone calls from their producers who are telling them, like, this guy lived in Tampa, he had a green card, he came here in 2010 from Uzbekistan, he's Muslim. I just want to see, like, if their body language and the way they're talking about this amongst themselves, like, reflects their reporting. This is fake news in the creation, you guys. I'm just letting you guys watch this. These are all they're all on their cell phones. You know, it's like what Mike Cernovich said once. You know, going to the White House, they all just have their private Slack channels and they're constructing this narrative as to, like, what they want people to believe. They all work together, right, to push a narrative. More eavesdropping. Oh boy. I'm just gonna let you guys wait and see if that reports. So, because, you know, he did roll his eyes and say, "Oh, neighbors said he was a good guy," as they always do. Why don't you just say, you know, he's a member of a death cult? That's more accurate than saying he's a nice guy. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, I know so many of these reporters, right? Because I see them. I see them when I report in the streets. I see them. I used to work for Fox in Miami. Like, I know a lot of these people personally, and it's just, like, disgusting, right? Like, they don't care. They're not impacted. They're all laughing and smiling and giggling. Like, they're not impacted by this because they don't work for the people, right? They get paid to construct a narrative, whatever narrative the company that is paying them, like, is paying them to push, and that's it. It's just, how can you be laughing at something like this? I don't get it. I mean, look, guys, Halloween isn't even safe anymore, right? Like, you have people who are dressing up, and now, look, they want to take it away from us, too. They want to take everything away from us. I mean, why would anybody want to go out and dress up for Halloween when you know that people could be dressed up and committing acts of terrorism? Like, how do you know? How do you know someone is not a mass murderer dressed up, right? Like, how do you know that somebody is not a threat? I don't even know, like, how are people in New York literally just going to go to a parade and celebrate Halloween when this happens? It's not even safe. It's irresponsible for the city of New York to let this parade take place tonight. An Islamic terrorist attack just took place in New York City, and people are walking around like nothing happened. And they're walking around like nothing happened because the media and the government, they want you to believe that there's no threat of just terrorism, of Islam, right? I'm not even going to say radical Islam because it's just Islam, right? Let's just get to the chase. It's just Islam. It's not radical, it's not moderate, it's just Islam. And they just don't want people knowing that this is taking place in our country.
At the very end of the live shot, I'll reference the mayor and the governor at the parade. I don't know if you found that picture.
Sorry if it's not so eventful right now. I just am, like, really interested in watching the construction of fake news because you can overhear these reporters like with their behavior and what they're saying amongst themselves and what they really think, and I just want to see, like, what their producers are going to tell them to say because, like, this is the media, right? Like, people get their knowledge of terrorism and they get their knowledge of the terror threat in this country based on what the media says, right? So if you're watching MSNBC or CNN and they're telling you, like, hey, look, like, Muslims are our friends, right? Islam is peaceful. Don't be a bigot. Don't be an Islamophobe. Like, you're not going to think that there's a threat of Islamic terrorism, right? And even Fox News, I hate to say it, like, even Fox News is starting to become that way, So it's just interesting to see, like, what their body language is and what they're really saying and then what they report. I just want you all to see how the narrative to like prevent people from you know, attributing this to Islam is constructed. It's like freezing cold out here. Hi.
Text message to my friend. I'm like, maybe he could be rehabilitated. Like, laughed at me.
I don't think there's any going
Wind up
back.
like Timothy McVeigh.
I don't think there's any going back.
We've been better off. The police have better range.
The car that's surrounded by tape is believed to be the car that the shooter, that the perpetrator in this case, took to that Home Depot in Passaic. It's now surrounded by the crime scene tape because the authorities have been going over, getting prints and all that you might imagine, forensics from that vehicle. We don't know whether he went to that location by himself. My understanding from law enforcement sources is that there are cameras at that location, that they're on just about every square inch, as it was described to me, and that if there was anyone with them, they either already know or will know very shortly. They've worked in close contact, they tell us, with the Home Depot there, and again, they're processing that vehicle. Try to learn more about if it had left anything behind in that vehicle. We still don't know. We expect to get that released in some time. Here on scene in Lower Manhattan, in the shadows of the Freedom Tower, I can tell you that police on scene have told me in the last 20 minutes or so that this suspect didn't say anything to anyone aside from Hollywood Walk. The location, West Side Highway, West Street, as it is in this area, just down the street from us. And when he was wandering in and out of that traffic, according to the authorities who were on scene, he didn't say anything else. In fact, one very good police source said to me, and I'm quoting, he didn't seem to be in any mood to speak, and we certainly weren't in any mood to talk to him. They took him away without incident. My police sources tell me that he was shot in the midsection, described as the abdomen. He's still at Bellevue Hospital, the trauma center there. Surgery was scheduled. Whether that surgery is complete or not, I do not know. Nothing in the last 10 minutes. And in fact, they believe that these injuries are not life-threatening, so they'll be able to call it. As for his background, so our intelligence correspondent Catherine Harris is reporting tonight that he is believed to have been here on a green card. He was Becky National, who's in the United States on a green card, has expired identifications from both Tampa, Florida, and in near New Jersey. So New Jersey, near the city of New York, across the river. He is believed to have been living in New Jersey for the better part of the last few years.
Lives in New Jersey.
Recently, according to the reporting of the New York Post, with which this channel shares common ownership, he's been serving as an Uber driver. That was as recently as the summer.
This guy was an Uber driver.
The man who described himself as a friend of his who was to the airport, wanted to take pictures, said that he couldn't take, and he wasn't willing to take pictures, described him as a friendly guy who was good to everybody. Obviously that was not the case here, but at 3:05 this afternoon, according to authorities, he began the rampage down the bike path just off the West Side Highway, 20 blocks.
This guy was an Uber driver.
Down pedestrian after pedestrian, biker after biker, ending his rampage here in the shadow of the World Trade Center, very near Stuyvesant High School, where he ran into that school bus. Catherine Harris further reports that there were handicapped children on that bus at the time. The school reports one person was in critical condition, 2 staffers injured as well. So that's what we know about his background and the situation across the river in Passaic, where they have that vehicle surrounded and trying to find out what they can learn about this man from that.
So if you guys are, oh, sorry, puppy. For those of you who are listening, so Shepard Smith just reported. It was like similar to what he was saying. You know, he did say the line, oh, his friend said that he was a nice guy, right? But this guy's from Uzbekistan, had expired identification, was here on a green card, right? So then it goes back to Bill de Blasio's policy, because Bill de Blasio doesn't think it's necessary for people to have photo ID in this town, right? He doesn't think it's necessary for people to have to show identification to vote for anything. So here you have a guy with expired identification who's an Uber driver, right? Like, when you guys see me talking about how all the Uber drivers in New York City are Muslim, that's not you know, a stereotype. Okay, there's a problem. I don't know if you guys were following my Twitter a couple weeks ago, but Dr. Jane Ruby and I were in an Uber on Rosh Hashanah, and a Muslim Uber driver pulled over when he heard us talking about Rosh Hashanah, right? These are the type of people who are in our city. They're hateful people. Okay? I mean, expired identification. How are you even an Uber driver with expired identification? I mean, is Uber gonna take responsibility? Was Uber paying a jihadi terrorist to drive who didn't have legitimate identification? Everyone should go tweet at Uber. I mean, what if this guy was using his Uber today? Like, what if he decided to pick people up for Halloween and use his Uber to run into people? Like, do people not think about these things and just, you know? This is a problem. When people complain, like in London, about like the Muslim Uber drivers, they complain here. There's a reason why people are complaining, right? There's a reason. Why don't you all go tweet at Uber? You should all go tweet at Uber and Bill de Blasio. Ask Bill de Blasio why he doesn't believe people should have to show identification in the city. He thinks that it's racist, right? He thinks that it's discriminatory to ask people for identification. But we just found out that this guy, this terrorist, this Muslim terrorist, had expired identification, and he was driving for Uber. How is that even possible? How is that possible? All of you, go tweet at Uber. Ask them. Ask them about this terrorist who was driving for Uber. Dropping people off at the airport. So you have an Islamic terrorist on a green card, expired identification, and they're talking about how he's driving people to the airport. Because that's exactly what we need in this this country, right? We need Muslim Uber drivers with expired identification who are going to be committing acts of terrorism across the street from the World Trade Center, driving people to New York City airports. Wow, doesn't remind me of 9/11 at all. Not at all.
Talk. Yes. Talk. You're good. How do I sound? You're good. Can you hear me now? I don't know what happened.
Maybe I should introduce myself to Shepherd. Hi Shepherd, how are you? My name's Laura Lumer, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I saw you. I can't talk to you.
No,
It's nice to meet you.
So, he can't talk to me. He just walked away and said he can't talk to me. You guys just saw that. Shepherd Smith just said, I saw you, but I can't talk to you. Wow. Shepherd Smith smoked a cigarette and ran away from me. He literally just cut his cigarette short and ran away from me. I wanted to go ask him a question and he ran away from me. Wow. Did you guys just see that? Shepherd Smith just ran away from me. Hi, I know who you are. I can't talk to you. You guys saw it. He literally lit a cigarette 10 seconds before I ran up to him and then walked away from me. I triggered him really hard. That's Fox News for you guys. Like, I'm a conservative and that was Fox News and they can't talk to me. I mean, you guys, that's Fox News. I'm not one of these Republicans that's just going to be like, oh, Fox is so great. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the only people at Fox who are doing anything worthwhile are Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. Wow. Why don't you guys go ask Shepherd Smith why he ran away from me? He literally ran away from me, you guys. Like, seriously ran away from me. That was very nice, too. I said, I was using a very nice, calm voice, which, you know, I don't always use my nice, calm voice, but I was using a very nice voice, and I said, I should. I'm Laura Loomer. Oh, I know who you are. I can't talk to you. Bye. This is so funny. Wow, so look, they have all these counterterrorism trucks coming in right now, crime scene trucks, all coming in right now.
Sorry,
oh, sorry. So, what do we have here? Is that a bomb squad car? No. So there's a pretty big crime scene cars. The coroner's office? Oh, okay, so those are the vans from the coroner's office. They look like the bomb cars that they bring sometimes, and they're like they're really big. So we have I guess there's bodies still over there on the ground, so the coroner's office.
That's feds. Oh,
Feds.
feds. Okay.
No, yeah, I mean, it's obvious they're feds, but if it's a federal investigation, then they'll probably have coroners working with them too, you know, so. They have to leave the bodies till they finish, so. The feds are here. Also, too, for those of you who are asking me about Las Vegas, it was very interesting listening to Shepard Smith report on this coverage, because the first thing he said was, this is New York City, there's cameras everywhere, so I'm sure that we're going to see footage of this guy and, you know, his whereabouts, and we're in contact with Home Depot to see how this guy got the truck and whatever. Like, why aren't they talking about that with regards to Las Vegas? How come they're not saying the same thing with regards to the footage, right? There's footage everywhere in Las Vegas, too. So it just goes to show you, like, if you watch this reporting, you see how inconsistent, like, a lot of it really is. Like, they pick and choose what they say because they're literally told by the people who are paying them what they can and cannot say. Okay? So I want you guys to see how this is done, because I'm honestly sick and tired of these people lying to the American public and choosing what they can and can't report on, and just, like, you know, just betraying the American people, right? The media is supposed to be the fourth estate. We're supposed to be a watchdog and hold people accountable. And why are they talking about surveillance footage here in New York to identify a terrorist, right? I have not heard anyone on the news talk about that with regards to Las Vegas. It's just such a double standard.
What's your username?
It's at Laura Loomer.
L-U-L-A-U.
Loomer, Loomer.
On what is it? Facebook Live?
No, I'm on Twitter. Periscope.
Periscope?
Yeah.
Periscope?
So.
Go to it.
What?
No, I wanted to ask. I want to see it.
Oh. It's just really funny. You look at the way they're reporting. Oh, there's like 50,000 people. There's like thousands of people tuning in right now.
The latest we have is that right now, authorities in the state of New Jersey, which is about 15 miles from here, 45 minutes from driving New York City, they have surrounded vehicles.
I can't see how many viewers are on this thing. How many viewers are watching this scope right now?
Untold numbers of people, pedestrians, bicyclists. We saw the mangled remains of bicycles on the side of the road, which you said killed officially now 8 people and injured at least 12. Our Captain Harry, national security intelligence correspondent, is reporting that sources tell her he was here on a visa from Uzbekistan, came to the United States in the year 2010, had lived in Tampa and New Jersey, has expired identifications revoked. Most recently, over the summer, according to the reporting of the New York Post, which this channel shares common ownership, even serving as an Uber driver as recently as the summer.
They're just repeating the same thing that they just did before. The same talking points, right? Nothing new. Same talking points. The guy was an Uber driver, had expired identification. You know? If he really had expired identification, these are, okay, we get it, right? How many times are these reporters literally just going to say he had expired? Yeah, I am. How many times?
I have exclusive footage of the actual incident.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Who are you with?
I'm independent. I don't work for any of these, but they walk away. Look, I don't work for the mainstream media, so I don't have millions of dollars or thousands of dollars to give people for their footage, but, you know, it's not about that. It's about telling the truth. People just want money, you know? I'm not making a lot of money. Sorry, I don't work for CNN or New York Times. I can't pay you $100,000 for your footage so I can twist the narrative. I'm not going to stand behind him. Look, I'm not going to be disrespectful and crash his newscast. I'm going to listen, but what I would be asking right now is I would be saying, what? Wait a second, if this guy was really on a visa and came here in 2010 and he had expired identification, how is he working for Uber? Like, you keep telling us that he's from Uzbekistan and that he's Muslim and that he has expired identification, but we're not asking the important questions. How does he have no identification working in New York City as an Uber driver or New Jersey, right? Why is a jihadi terrorist getting so close to the airport, driving people to the airport? Why is this guy working for Uber? Why hasn't Uber addressed the issue with their you know, Muslim drivers, which there's a lot of them, if you haven't already noticed, who are very problematic? I mean, in London, they're having issues with their Muslim Uber drivers who are literally raping people. I was dumped on the side of the street with a fellow Jew on Rosh Hashanah by a Muslim Uber driver here in New York City, just right around the corner actually from this. It's funny that this is right, you know, right next to the World Trade Center. Dr. Jane and I were literally right around the corner from this, and the Muslim guy just didn't want to finish our Uber because we were Jewish. I mean, yeah, as an Uber driver in New York City, you're required to have a license, like a taxi license. So how was he driving in the tri-state area without an official license or identification? And also, too, why are we allowing people with, like, just visas and green cards from problematic nations where they have Islamic terrorists? Why are we allowing them to drive people? It's just not safe, right? We need to... Look, people say, oh, that's profiling, that's racist. You can't do that. You can't say someone can't be an Uber driver because they're Muslim or they come from a country where there's, you know, Islamic terrorism. But look, guys, profiling keeps you safe, okay? It keeps you safe. I mean, God forbid, the next thing we're going to hear about, other than like Muslim Uber drivers raping women, is we're going to hear about them using their Uber drivers in the car with them to commit these truck attacks or these horrible terrorist attacks. I mean, is that what we want? Do we want these Muslim Uber drivers to, like, use the vehicles they're driving passengers around in to commit acts of terrorism? I don't. I mean, let's ask the real questions here. I know it's so provocative and I know it's so daring and, you know, God forbid someone goes off script, right? But, like, why do these people even get paid? Like, Shepard Smith probably makes millions of dollars a year, and what is he even getting paid for? And I watch Fox News. I mean, I'm a conservative, but, like, I'm calling them out. Like, what do these people get paid for? I mean, none of these people, like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, it's all garbage. It's all garbage. What are they getting paid for if they're not going to ask these tough questions? I mean, how many times are people literally just going to repeat over and over again, he doesn't have licensing, he worked for Uber. Okay, God, like, let's have a discussion. We waste so much time, like, you know, talking about things and, like, you know, trying to, you know, push these things on people. Just, you know, they're going to repeat these facts over and over again, when really you get more airtime when people are tuning in. You get more value out of the live broadcast if you ask these questions or force people to challenge the narrative, right? We live in New York. Why don't they ask Bill de Blasio to comment on, you know, why he's allowed this place to become a sanctuary city, a haven for people like this? Let's ask real questions. And this is why alternative media is so important, because the mainstream media isn't going to ask these questions. I mean, look, this is the same thing we see every day. Like, I mean, this is very tragic, and of course this is very unfortunate, but this isn't a new sight. I mean, come on, like, every single day Muslims are running people over with cars and killing people. It's not like this is, you know, so shocking. This is literally happening every single day all over the world, but, like, we report it like it's breaking news, and then, you know, we don't do anything about it. Reporting on it isn't going to do anything if you're not going to actually, like, challenge people to change the policies, or you're going to ask them to restrict immigration, or, you know, make tougher guidelines, or, you know, just maybe even consider, like, a full ban. I mean, honestly, it's an ideology, right? You can't vet. How are you supposed to vet somebody's brain? Because we're not talking about a physical weapon here. The weapon that these people use is in their brain. So how do you vet these people, right? I don't understand when they say that we vet people from these countries, right? How do you vet an Islamic extremist? Like, you don't know what's in their brain, right? I mean, it's just very simple. The way we're going to solve this is we stop allowing people from Muslim countries to come into this country. Or like, we stop allowing Muslims. And I know it sounds very harsh, right? And people are going to say, oh, that's unconstitutional. But that's what these people want to do. They want to alter our Constitution. And like I said a million times, Sharia law is not compatible with the United States Constitution. It's just not.
How do you find it?
Oh, if you go to my Twitter, Laura Loomer.
I go to Twitter? Hold on.
Yeah. LAURALOOMER. That's it. The one that's verified right there. And if you follow me and then you scroll down, there you go. I'm on a Periscope right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's just how many people are watching now, but...
Still good.
And you're on right now, so you're watching yourself.
Is it good to give hearts?
Yeah, you're gonna give hearts?
How do I do it?
I don't know. How do you... I'm gonna have this guy right here sitting next to me watching the stream live.
She's very famous and she's very good.
I mean, it is pretty absurd what we're watching right now.
Yeah.
They keep repeating the same thing over and over, but the logical thing to ask, right? And if you have access to such a platform and millions of people, why don't you say, like, why is Bill de Blasio not requiring people in this town to have identification? Like, why doesn't he care? Why does he allow this to be a sanctuary city? Why does he provide protection for people like this? Right? He literally has made it. He makes it almost illegal. It's like a crime in this town. You'll get fired. You'll get ostracized. You'll get criticized if you dare question whether or not, you question Islam, right? If you question illegal immigration. If you, where am I from? I'm from Arizona. I live in New York, though.
Nice.
But how is this guy an Uber driver when he has expired?
That doesn't make sense.
It does. You have to have a New York City taxi license to be an Uber driver.
Uber in New Jersey.
Yeah, but either way, like, you still have to have.
Uber strict about this.
They're supposed to be.
They care about making money.
Who said that it's illegal? I mean, who said that it's expired?
Well, that's Shepard Smith was reporting that the guy had expired identification from.
Yeah, but he could still also have active identification.
Or maybe he has one of those ID cards that Bill de Blasio gives out to everybody that illegal immigrants are getting. You walk in and you say your name is anything. I mean, who knows? Maybe he has one of de Blasio's cards. You don't even need to really show identification to get one of those. There's so much corruption, right?
Why don't you go in the video? I'll hold it for you and you'll be in the video.
I can flip it around.
Yeah, because they probably want to see your viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to show myself. I want people to see what's going on here.
Show yourself like this.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm sure they want to see this more. They can see me whenever they want. Yeah, it's more important for people to see that this is literally taking place in New York City, right next to, where 9/11 happened.
Yep, it's crazy.
And it's funny that they mentioned an Uber driver because a couple weeks ago, on like Rosh Hashanah, I was in an Uber with a friend of mine, a Jewish friend, and there was this guy dressed in full Muslim garb, another Muslim Uber driver, and he literally stopped the car when he found out that we were Jewish. We were talking about Rosh Hashanah dinner, and he stopped, and he wouldn't finish the ride. It's like, why do we have people like that in this city? Like, why are we letting them drive for Uber?
Really? He stopped?
He's literally stopped the car. He stopped the car and was like, oh, I can't drive you any longer. And Uber didn't say anything. Like, what is Uber? Do you know, like, an Uber in London, for example, Uber is like, they're thinking of shutting it down, getting rid of it because the Muslim Uber drivers are raping women. Like, they're sexually assaulting because in their religion they think it's okay, right? They don't respect women. They think it's okay to rape people, to sexually assault people, to commit these crimes, right? It's all about submission. It's about forcing people to agree with what you believe in. I mean, why do we allow this? Why do we have a mayor who's running for re-election who allows this? And why aren't any of these reporters who are getting paid millions of dollars a year, why aren't any of them questioning this?
Because he only makes $10 million a year, not $20 million a year.
Like, none of them want to ask this question.
Go to CNN.
Yeah, that's CNN, right?
Or MSNBC.
Oh yeah.
See if you can find them.
They're just gonna. What is Rachel Maddow gonna say tonight?
He didn't say Allah Akbar. He said God is great.
He didn't say Allahu Akbar.
People misheard it.
Hold on, you guys.
I want to see that.
Wait, this guy killed people in the name of Islam, but let's talk about how bad Donald Trump is. You know, it's like, and also it's like it makes you really wonder. Like, this is exactly what Donald Trump was talking about when he wanted his ban, right? When he wanted to restrict immigration.
That's what I said. I told him that. I said Trump is loving this right now because he just supports everything that he's.
Well, you know, obviously it's very tragic. I don't think he's loving it, but
I
you know,
mean it like that,
but I agree with you in the sense that it just shows. I mean, he's right about everything. I mean, it's almost like they want another 9/11, and they did this on purpose. I mean,
and your concept on vetting people is exactly how every
right. And you know, what's funny to me is they all attacked me because I went up to this Muslim New York Times reporter who was wearing a hijab. Right? Like, why would you send a woman in a hijab to cover this story? Why would you? And then I asked her,
the New York Times, and that's the view they want. They don't want the view of us conservative Jews. They want the view of the liberal Muslim reporter.
Are you with United Hatzalah?
I
I support your organization, actually. I donated to United Hatzalah. I think it's really good. What's his name? Ellie Beer, right? Ellie Beer. Yeah, I know Ellie. Great guy. I really like United Hatzalah. I think you guys do great work.
I'm not with them. How do you know Ellie Beer?
I've been to like an event with Ellie before, and I've donated to United Hatzalah. I was at their the gala where they had Jay Leno speaking,
nice. Yeah.
But I think what you guys do, for those of you who don't know what United Hatzalah is, it's like an emergency response. It's a Jewish organization, and they have people in Israel who, they're just regular citizens who have like paramedic training, and they respond to terrorist attacks. And they're here in New York City, they're in Israel. I know you guys are you guys in Chicago too? I thought you guys were expanding.
Well, the United Hatzalah is in Jersey City.
Yeah.
And they are starting.
But there's an app, and every single time there's like a terrorist attack or like a medical emergency, regular people go on their United Hatzalah motorcycles, or they have ambulances too, and they respond. So it's a really great organization, and they save lives. I mean, they've responded to terrorist attacks, and they've been there even before paid responders. And I don't think they're paid, right? You guys are just, it's all volunteer, United Hatzalah. So, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out, but I think it's important for people to know that, you know, it's like a very good Jewish organization that's actually like showing up, you know? I mean, all this attention being given to the Muslim, we might as well like focus on the good Jews here, right? We could use it, yeah. Well, like I was saying, I mean, this happens in Israel every day. Right? This happens all over the world every single day.
Sunday. And I was standing with my friend. I'm from New York. I was standing with my friend on the street corner, and we're hailing a taxi. And they have these barriers set up all along those, you know, concrete pillars. And I don't live in Jerusalem, so I'm not used to it. But we're on the street hailing a taxi, and I'm like, you know what? We should probably be behind these pillars because they're here for a reason, those pillars, and we should be behind them for that exact reason. And literally, this was 2 days ago. I'm telling my friend this, and then I landed this morning, and then I heard about this. And I was like,
no, and like I was saying too, is that in Israel, the thing that they do and that people freak out about here is they profile in Israel, right? But it keeps people safe.
You go through the airport, every security guard.
Even I mean, I'm Jewish, and every time I fly on LL or I go to Israel, I literally was interrogated last time I went to Israel because I have blonde hair.
They
interrogated me.
They know the answer to it. They're going to look at you, look for your reaction.
But if people do that here in the United States, they accuse you of profiling. But look, they do have terrorist attacks in Israel, but like their response and their control and like the public discussion around it, it's understood that those people are a threat, right? I mean, it's understood. There's not a discussion as like, oh, should we kill these people?
When you get into a cab, you look if the driver of the cab is a Jewish driver or Arab.
When you cross over the barrier to get into the airport, they have you. They say good morning. They say good morning to you, and they look at your accent, and they want to hear your accent.
That's all racial.
And if you don't speak Hebrew, like they make you get out of the car and they'll talk to you and ask you a couple questions.
If you do speak Hebrew, you know, I don't speak Hebrew. I speak English.
No, I know, but like I don't speak it, and they'll interrogate you and ask you things, right? And look, it's a pain.
What holiday is coming up? They ask you any, you know.
It's a pain, but it keeps you safe. That's why
You feel safe.
That's why LL has never had a terrorist attack, right? That's why LL isn't having their planes flown into buildings.
They do a good job.
Someone said she's Jewish. No wonder she's lying against Muslims. Oh yeah, because this is a lie. We're lying about the fact that a Muslim just ran over all these people. Wow. We're lying.
Somebody with their lie?
It's so funny. I'm telling lies about London Uber. It's not a lie. Women are being sexually assaulted in Ubers in London. I mean, God, you have so many people who just want to cover for these people. It's really disgusting. It makes you wonder, like, whose side they're really on.
They don't understand. They're not educated.
Islamic sympathizers will be blocked from this scope, okay? I'm letting you know now. I appreciate, like, you know, I like differences in opinion, but if you're literally going to endorse these people and defend them for their disgusting, savage behavior, you will be blocked from my stream. You will be blocked. You will be blocked. Oh, well, they're going to say it's not banned because of Muslims, but come on. I mean, there's a huge issue with the Muslims in London, right? Londonistan. They have a Muslim mayor, right? Stop pretending like the issue with Uber has nothing to do with Islam. Exactly. How is Islam a religion of peace? It's not. It's a religion of pieces. And then it's Halloween and everyone just walks around. It was unbelievable. Like an hour, I was in like Chappaqua, right? Because I was gonna dress up as Hillary Clinton and go pass out candy in Chappaqua tonight. So I had to like drive to the train station and it took me like 2 hours because it's far away. Like Chappaqua far from the city. And like no one on the train, even an hour after this, was like aware of what happened. I was expecting Grand Central to be on lockdown, right?
Nobody knew.
And the driver, when I said, is Grand Central on lockdown? The guy goes, why would it be on lockdown? I'm like, there's a terrorist attack in Manhattan, like literally right next to the Chambers Street, Brooklyn City Hall station. He goes, oh, I didn't know about that. I mean, de Blasio doesn't care about security in this country or the city.
The first hour was just the road rage. The first hour was an hour and a half.
Well, we all knew, right? I mean, like, who does this? As soon as I saw it, I was like...
No.
Can you witness it?
What'd you say?
Did you see it? You witness it?
No, I didn't witness it. No. So a lot of these reporters are leaving now. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like this is over. Like, what, you're just going to leave and no one's going to cover this? Like, kind of weird. But that's the thing about these reporters, right? Like, they come, they do their little stand-ups, they read, and they're told, like, exactly what to say. They say exactly what they're told to say, and then they just leave. Like, they don't stay and ask questions or really, like, you know, like, engage in public discourse and challenge people and challenge the narrative, right? They don't confront people and ask them to disavow Islamic terrorism because they're just paid to read a script. All of them. All of them are paid to read a script. Bye, it was really nice meeting you. Bye. No real journalism, exactly. And they'll say I'm not a journalist because I'm conservative and I'm challenging the narrative. But look, they're not journalists. Reading a script and ignoring the obvious, ignoring the Muslim people who are laughing in front of the World Trade Center wearing hijabs after a terrorist attack just happened and not confronting them, that's not journalism, right? That's called being complicit. That's called sympathizing with Islamic terrorism. 1,668. That's awesome. I'm so glad that like a lot of people are watching this. I hope this inspires other people to come out here. Look, I'm not getting paid by anyone to do this, right? I was going to go to a Halloween party tonight. I had a Hillary Clinton costume ready. I was going to go to Chappaqua, pass out candy in my Hillary for Prison outfit. I was just trying to enjoy Halloween, and, you know, I try to have fun and inject humor into things and, you know, red pill people at the same time. But look, I had to come out here. I canceled my Halloween plans, but, I mean, it's more important. But it took me so long to get down. And look, I don't care. Like I said, like, I don't have to worry about someone firing me. I don't have to worry about someone, like, cutting me off, like, financially because of the things I say. So I don't care if people are offended by what I say. I'm going to say whatever I want because it's up to you guys. Like, if you guys like my work, you fund it, right? So when people are saying, oh my God, that's so horrible, like, okay, cool, you think it's horrible, but I'm not going to stop saying it just because you think it's horrible. And that's why alternative media and independent journalism is so important, right? Because we work for you, the people. We don't work for fake news CNN or the New York Times or Fox News, which really isn't much better, or MSNBC, right? So I say what I want, and if the people want to support my work, they support my work. But I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to filter myself, and I sure as hell am not going to put the feelings of some girl in a hijab before my my own reporting. Truth hurts. Truth is ugly, but you know what? Too damn bad. And if this is what it takes, is me, you know, being plastered on some newspaper, being called offensive or a bigot for people to have this discussion and think to themselves, huh, why would somebody go confront a Muslim who was laughing at this and ask them whether they disavow it? Then so be it. So be it. You have to force the media to cover things. None of these people want to talk to me too. It's so funny. Like, the people want to talk to me. You notice that? Like, notice how the people are coming up to me and they're like, oh, I really like what you're doing. What's your Twitter? I want to follow you. And, you know, they're like, oh, I agree with you. Notice how the people that are standing here on the streets are like, wow, it's crazy. Like, they did this right next to the tower. But, like, you don't see journalists coming up to me and talking to me and interviewing me because they would never be allowed to interview somebody like me. They would never be allowed to interview somebody like me. Fox News would never air this. Fox News came to the anti-Sharia march in New York City and they asked me some, like, you know, similar questions, and they cut my soundbite out of the interview because it was just, what, too spicy for them? Too offensive? Too real? None of them want to talk to me. They all just want to put their cameras in my face and record me because it's like an endangered species. I'm like a wild animal to them, right? Like, they don't want to ask questions about the actual, like, savage animal that just committed this attack, but they want to, like, treat me like I'm some wild animal and put their camera in my face because I'm a conservative. Imagine that. Let that sink in. You know, like, if you're a conservative on the streets of New York City, you're like a wild animal. But if you're an Islamic terrorist and you mow down 8 people, you're just a misunderstood, like, you know, victim of Islamophobia, just an immigrant on a green card, you know, diversity. It's like what Bill de Blasio loves, right? People like me, like, I get arrested for protesting in front of, like, Shakespeare in the Park, right? I get arrested for protesting political violence, but then Muslims on green cards who don't even have valid identification are allowed to drive people to airports with Uber. That's New York City for you. That's like the East Coast. That's the country that we're literally living in right now, you guys. Just think about it. These reporters call me an extremist when I storm the stage, but I doubt they're going to call this guy an extremist. Unfollow. Cool. Go unfollow. Go follow CNN. Go follow Shepard Smith. I'm sure they would, like, love you to follow them so you could just become another victim of their fake news agenda. Unfollow me. I literally don't care. I'm not in this for like fame and money and followers. If people want to follow me, they'll follow me. If they don't want to follow me, oh well, I don't care. Why did he do it? Well, he's Muslim. I mean, like, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, when you're asking for motive when a Muslim commits an act of terrorism, like, the motive is literally Islam. They're doing this by shouting Allahu Akbar. That is their motive. Why did they do it? They did it because they wanted to express Islamic supremacy, right? They wanted to intimidate. They wanted to force people to submit, and they wanted to instill terror. I'm ignorant. Unfollow then. Bye. Why are you on my stream if I'm ignorant? Bye. Go watch Shepard Smith. This is crazy. Yeah, the Quran told them to do it. Thanks for all the support, you guys. Look, I know, like, regardless of the few trolls that come on the stream, I know that this is what the people think, you know? I know that you guys are sick and tired of hearing people report this fake news bullshit, right? I know you're tired of being told that there's no threat. Like when the Department of Homeland Security tries to tell you 2 days after ISIS's leader says they're going to attack the U.S. again. I know you guys are sick and tired of them saying there's not a threat. I know you're tired of them telling you that ISIS didn't commit the Las Vegas shooting, even though they took responsibility for it like 5 times. I know you're tired of this denial. I'm tired of it too. This is why I don't live in the city, to be honest with you. Like, I live in the suburbs because I just know that this place is just a hotbed of terrorism, and there are terrorists swarming everywhere in here, right? Everywhere you go, whether it be the food trucks on the side of the street, the local mosque, whatever, like, there are Muslims who are radicalized everywhere. And I'm not going to lie, like, I get nervous too when I walk around Grand Central or when I'm in the subway system and I don't get cell service, because I just know it's the perfect location, right? And it creates a lot of stress, and I shouldn't. Like, I don't consider myself to be a fearful individual. I think I'm a pretty brave person, but even sometimes I get scared living in New York City.
Sarah, sorry, what did you say? Your spot? Okay, got it.
I mean, notice how they're not really like asking people questions. They're just going off what their producers are saying. So they're gathering information from people who are saying, like, say this is what you need to say. Like, they're not asking people, they're not talking to people, they're not asking important questions. They're being told through an earpiece what to say, what they can and cannot say. It's not journalism. Like, they like to try and discredit members of the alternative media or independent journalists, but like, we're actually out here on the streets talking to people, engaging with people, like, speaking for the people. You're listening to an earpiece being told what to say by a producer who has an agenda. Sorry if it's so rough to see. It's like blurry, it's freezing cold, and it's really dark outside. So. And the good thing is I just bought like 10 huge battery packs, so I can stand out here for hours and not have to worry about my phone dying. So I'm really excited about my new battery packs that I just purchased, because now I don't have to worry about my phone dying. I brought a backpack and it's full of battery packs. So. Also, too, you guys, like, when they say that they don't know about these people, just going back to like the Las Vegas shooting as well, they say, oh, we don't know about this guy, like, right? Like, we're not showing the surveillance footage. We don't know, like, whether this guy had ties to ISIS. How is it that within an hour, like, the news here in New York knows where this guy is from, all of his visas, all of his international history? Like, they say that there's camera footage of him, like, getting a truck and all this stuff, right? But they can't say the same thing about Stephen Paddock. It's just, I'm telling you right now, like, these people are literally told what they can and cannot say. And it's just so hypocritical. How do they know all this stuff about a guy who isn't even from this country? But then Stephen Paddock is from this country and they can't tell you anything? You have the feds on scene here too. How come the feds know about this guy, right? How come they didn't know about Stephen Paddock? So when they tell you like, oh, we don't have answers, or we're not going to have press conferences, right? Like we're just not going to talk about this. It's because they just don't want you knowing, or they don't want people questioning their narrative. A Democratic mayor, a globalist mayor, right? A guy who literally takes pictures with Linda Sarsour, who calls for jihad in the United States. Where's Linda Sarsour coming out against this, right? Like, how come Bill de Blasio is posing with people with signs that say Muslims for Bill de Blasio? Like, why is he taking selfies with Linda Sarsour? When are these people going to stop promoting and encouraging jihad? So this guy's obviously just trying to like see who's going to give him the most money for his footage. Going around talking to people. Give me money for my footage. Yeah, they said the guy that he lived in Tampa, right? But he has expired identification. Imagine that. Weren't the people who, some of the terrorists from 9/11, didn't they also live in Florida or Tampa, if I'm not mistaken? What's going on in Tampa, Florida? What is going on in Tampa, Florida? It is, right? Am I right? That some of the 9/11 attackers spent time in Tampa, Florida, or they went to school there. Can someone confirm that? Because I don't just want to promote fake news, like the fake news media. Can someone fact check that, please? Yes, it's true. Okay, great. So what is going on in Tampa? Who is giving all of this identification in Tampa, Florida to Islamic terrorists who are clearly targeting New York City? Who? What is going on in Tampa, Florida? Why are these people who are attacking New York City getting identification or going to Tampa, Florida? What's in Tampa, Florida? Are they radicalizing people in Tampa, Florida? Are you trying to tell me that Florida, right, where you had the Orlando shooting, are you trying to tell me that the imams and the mosques are radicalizing people? I mean, look, we already know this is happening. This is the discussion we need to be having, not, oh yeah, like, you know, this guy, you know, he was such a great guy, his friend said he was so nice, whatever, he drove for Uber, like, cool. Let's talk about the policy changes that are actually going to prevent things like this from happening. I mean, there's a theme, right? Florida and New Jersey connection again. Yeah, like, look, guys, this isn't a coincidence. Like, there's a reason why these, like, radicalized people are coming from the same places, right? You have Florida, you have New Jersey, you have New York, you have Minnesota, like, all over the place, because the mosques in these areas, they're radicalizing people and nobody's doing anything about it, right? These are sanctuary cities. These are places where there are Democratic politicians in charge who will, instead of going after the Islamic terrorists, they're going to go after the conservatives who criticize them, right? The people who dare, like Donald Trump, to say that we need stronger immigration in this country. You got to look at it. It's not just something that we should brush over, like, oh yeah, he had identification and lived in Tampa. Let's have a discussion about why Islamic terrorists are coming to attack New York City from Tampa. Let's launch an investigation. Like I said, I don't really care if people want to attack me. It's okay. I'm not really worried about being friends with these people. You know, I don't want to go on lunch dates with reporters from New York City, so I'm fine if they think I'm a horrible person. don't want to be friends with people like this, you know? I don't want to schmooze and booze with members of the press, the prostitutes in New York City. A lot of like federal vehicles coming in here right now, but you know, it's really sad. Whole street's blocked off. I would walk down further, but everything is blocked off. So, oh, they have people in hazmat suits down there, the white suits. I think that they're, you know, looking at bodies. It's just so sad. But look, guys, I mean, I look at how fast they determined that this was terrorism, right? But then what? It's been a month since Las Vegas, and they can't give us any answers. The reason I'm standing out here and I'm, you know, recording the media and letting you see this is because I want you all to see how you're getting played by the mainstream media. I want you all to see how their narratives are constructed and how they pick and choose what they report, and how much of a lie it is that the feds don't know whether what happened in Vegas was terrorism or they don't know anything. They literally just told us everything we need to know about this Islamic terrorist who committed this crime, right? They have all of his details, all of his life history. Vegas has nothing to do with Islam. Why did ISIS take responsibility? Like, maybe you guys should read up on ISIS. Are you guys aware that there are Muslims who have committed terrorist attacks and ISIS hasn't taken responsibility because you have to like pledge allegiance to their leader, and there's like, you know, a strict line of requirements for being a member of ISIS, and how ISIS claims responsibility for attacks? ISIS doesn't take credit for anything. They have denied attacks that were committed by other Muslims before. Just because what? The FBI told you? You're going to believe them? All right. Yeah, in California they are training. They're training ISIS. They're training ISIS. Well, ISIS is aligning itself all over, right? You have members of Antifa that are flying Syria, like all over the Middle East, and they're getting training. Ed Klein just released a new book, and I saw there was a story on Daily Mail actually, and there was an FBI report that showed that members of Antifa and like the alt-left and these like George Soros organizations are training with ISIS. So look, you have all these attacks that are being planned for November 4th. November 4th is their day of action where they're trying to like, you know, instill fear and like overturn the Trump administration. I guarantee you we're going to see things like this take place on November 4th too. Right? Because they've aligned themselves with Islam. They defend it. Like, the left in this country, and especially the alt-left, right? The radical left, they have endorsed this. They support this. They don't disavow. Disavowing to them is Islamophobic. Yeah, you guys should be very careful on November 4th. Be very aware of your surroundings. I mean, they're not really like taking it seriously. I haven't really seen a lot of media attention about this, but you guys need to be very careful on November 4th, right? Because Antifa they're already making threats online about killing white people, about going after Trump supporters. Like, regardless of who you are and what your politics are, like, just be very careful because they're gearing up. Hi.
What's up? Good to see
Hi,
you.
who are you?
I love what you're doing in
Oh,
Vegas.
thanks. I appreciate it.
I'm 9/11 no-planer.
I think I met you at a rally once, right?
Yeah,
it's hard to tell because it's always so dark at these events.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But so you think that was the real Jesus Campos on Ellen?
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a fake paid-for media, quote-unquote interview. Ellen has a contract with MGM.
It was a fake person, though. He was much heavier. He has a different.
Look, I'm not
hairline,
denying that.
different
We have
nose.
someone here who's a supporter of my Vegas investigation. I think it was very obvious that he looked very different, right, from his pictures from the awards ceremony and then when he was on Ellen. It is very suspicious. He did look like he gained 50 pounds, right?
Yeah. So what do you think about Charles Scott, though?
Scott.
The guy, I sent you the thing when I searched the plate, US.
Where'd you send it to me?
I sent it to you on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you
I have a
responded
hard.
to me.
I
No,
will
but
be
anyways,
honest. I don't
the
have a.
Nevada plate when you went to Jesus Campus's house it was US 34OH. But when I searched it on search bar, it went to
somebody else.
Yeah, Charles Scott.
Yeah. No,
Charles
that's
Scott.
That's another thing. He brings up a good point, which I had posted about this, is that his vehicle, which has expired plates, right? They expired in June, I believe. They aren't even. It's not even registered to him. It's registered to some guy who lives in Texas.
No, Henderson, Nevada. I sent you the screen.
The other, there's a registration for his car. There's a registration that also is traced back to Texas as well. Or the guy has a house in Texas, something. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that. No, but it's the plate Nevada US 34OH.
Yeah.
That's registered. There was two names attached to it.
Yeah, there were two names. That's what my point is.
They were both Henderson though. They were both Henderson addresses.
One of them has property in Texas too, though, I believe, because. But yeah, no, it is very weird, right? Like, why does he have expired plates and why does he have somebody else's car? It's just. You are right. Sorry, if I don't respond to your DMs, I'm not ignoring you. I promise you. I feel really bad. I need to hire somebody or have somebody go through my messages because it is so hard to reply to everybody. I really wish I could, but I get so many messages every single day. Will this Periscope be able to be rewatched? I hope so, unless Twitter deletes it. I mean, shit, they might ban me. It should be available, though. I hope it is. It's just crazy. I don't think it's a coincidence that this guy decided to do this right here, you know?
Yeah.
Because he wants all the reporters to have a backdrop that shows the Freedom Tower. Like, that's why these, sick savages do this. Notice how none of the news anchors want to talk to people who have a difference in opinion.
Yeah.
They see other people who are clearly talking about Islam and how horrible this is, and how Bill de Blasio has been so toxic with his policies, and how the Democrats have just destroyed this country with their pro-Islamic immigration. But none of these reporters want to get that opinion, right? They're getting told by their producers what they can and can't say.
Yeah. So there was a guy. I'm actually my video is posting, who was saying that he was saying something other than Allah Akbar, which is weird. I'll send you the link later.
Weird.
But
they're saying that he just said Allahu Akbar and didn't want to talk. I'm not gonna believe that, because that's their MO, right? A lot of these terrorists, they just shout Allahu Akbar and that's all they want to say, right? They don't say anything else besides that, because that's what they want people to hear. Because they expect to die, right? They shot him, and unfortunately he didn't die. But now he's, I guess, in the hospital getting surgery. So I don't know why they didn't kill him, but I guess they decided to let him live. And so now what? We're going to have this guy in our prison system on the taxpayer dime in New York or New Jersey? Great. We're paying to bring these savages in, and now we're paying to keep them in the prison system.
Is he foreign?
Well, I guess he has a visa, so I guess he could be deported. He's on a green card, but I thought...
Where's he from?
Uzbekistan.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Someone said on my scope that he left a note in the truck pledging allegiance to ISIS. Are you seeing that?
Oh, no, I'm not periscoping. I'm just. Yeah.
You can look that up, maybe. Are you on? Oh.
No, I'm just recording. I'm gonna post it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't really access the internet right now or check a lot, so I can't really say if that's true or not. But because if I do go online, I'm just gonna lose my stream. But I don't know. For those of you who are watching the scope, is that true? Did he have a note in his car pledging allegiance to ISIS? Because I can't. They're not. No one's talking about that out here. So if that is true, no one is talking about that. Oh, it was just on Fox. Wow.
So look, I gotta go. I'm just swinging by.
Oh, what is
Protein bar.
Oh, nice.
Protein bar?
Thank you. So nice of you.
There you go, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Volunteer ministers.
Thanks.
Praise the Lord. God provides.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you.
So nice of you guys. I have water. Thank you so much.
God provides.
Malio tacos or bodito?
I like Bo Dietl.
Yeah.
I like Bo Dietl. I really want to see what Bo Dietl is going to say about this. Like, this is the result of Bill de Blasio's policies, right?
I don't know.
So,
I mean, I'm thinking anybody but de Blasio.
I mean, honestly, anybody but de Blasio, right?
Had Maliotakis higher in the polls, so maybe she's the most realistic.
I like Bo Dietl.
Yeah. No, I mean, anybody. Just the whole this latest corruption thing is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I think with him.
This is absurd, huh?
If it's God's will, it's God's bill. Whoever is, hopefully this wakes people up from their liberal bubbles.
I know. Well, are you
Infowars.com?
No, I don't work for Infowars. Sometimes I'm on
Alex Jones
Infowars.
said he was gonna hire you.
I know Alex said he was gonna hire me, but I don't know. We'll see.
Alex, what's going on? She's been reporting for the past 5 hours.
I love Infowars. We'll see. I love
Everybody
Infowars.
needs to be independent.
Yeah, I do love Alex Jones and Infowars, so we'll see.
They had it wrong though on their website. I just checked it a little while ago, and they said it was a shooting at first.
Well, it was a shooting and a truck, ramming. So the guy shot people and ran people over.
And then I was listening live on the show, and there was no coverage of it. So,
well,
because now I heard something later that he was holding a BB gun and a water gun.
A pellet gun.
Of course they're going to say that. They want to make these people seem non-threatening, but the reality is they're not going to, people are not going to tell you the truth about
So were any victims shot? I know he was shot by the
I don't know.
police.
I mean, I know that people died. It sounds like people mostly died from getting run over, right? Because it was a cyclist lane. So you have people in the cyclist lane who were run over by a giant, like one of those Home Depot box trucks. Those are big trucks. And if I don't know how fast he was driving, but
40 miles an hour.
Okay, 40 miles an hour is that's enough to take someone out. I mean, we see this happen all the time. It happens in Europe. We see that trucks are a very effective way for killing people. A lot of people.
Earlier in the summer.
This is devastating.
So this is right along the same lines of the Times Square attack.
Right. Are you a independent journalist?
I'm Honchar of New York. You can follow my Instagram, HONSCHAR. I'm just an artist, a poet. I have to be here for just observance of what happened.
You sound conservative, though.
Oh, all the way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wake up, New York! There's a war on. It's a very subtle war.
Yeah, but no one wants to admit it. No one wants to admit we're at war with Islam, right? I mean, you had President Bush literally stand on the remains of what was before this building and say, we're not at war with Islam. But we are at war with Islam, and we need to stop pretending like we're not at war with Islam, because they want to kill us, right? And you can't have that conversation without people going crazy. I mean, you saw what happened when I confronted the Muslim New York Times reporter. People go crazy. You literally, the Muslim people in this country are a protected class above anybody else. They have more privilege than anybody else in this country.
We should have respect for all religions, but when they show a continuing pattern of doing this, I mean, how do we solve it?
Tell people again how they can follow you.
Oh, you can follow my Instagram, please. Honchar of New York.
How do you spell that?
HONSCHAR. Alex, you gotta get her here. I don't see anybody else. I don't see Macaboob here.
Well, it was good on you. You need your own website with your own advertising stream.
I know, right?
And then just
I need
be
a lot.
independent. 'Cause everybody needs to be
Oh,
independent.
I had chalk. Can I write something for you here?
Yeah, write something. Write a message. Write a message for the mainstream.
At the November 4th thing in Times Square?
Yeah, my dad has been begging me not to go. He's don't go, please don't go.
I'll be there. I'll
think
send you
I'm
some
gonna
direct
go, yeah.
messages. So you were with Jovi last night at Columbia, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely. I mean, we'll just kind of look out for each other. Make sure you guys don't get attacked or something.
I'm supposed to be going.
No, we gotta go.
The next day, but I have to go.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
You have to go.
I think something really bad is going to happen now. Because they're already.
I'm gonna be there. No, sir. You, me, and Joey, we'll get together. We'll stick together, and we'll all look out for each other.
Here, you always message me on Instagram. Just take my number. Get your phone number. I'll give you my number. Because honestly, I don't always reply because I can't reply.
No,
I
you're
physically cannot.
You're semi-famous.
I don't like to use that word, but I got too many messages. It's hard to reply. So I'll type it in. I don't want to say what the number is.
Yeah.
Laura, we have to do your live feed.
Cool. So, yeah, well, I'll see you there.
Yeah. You look great. We'll be in touch.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Shepard Smith.
How come your battery's so long?
I have a battery pack. I just bought all these new battery packs so I could be out here without having to worry about my phone. I'm doing well. How are you?
You guys a newspaper too?
Am I what?
You a news reporter?
Yeah, I'm an independent journalist. Are you?
No.
You a member of the press?
No, I'm just a student here at BMC.
Oh, did you see what happened?
I heard about it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people were about to have like a Halloween party on campus, and then it got canceled. So, I mean, look, you guys, like, college students have enough common sense to cancel their Halloween parties after a terrorist attack, but the mayor of New York City doesn't have enough common sense to cancel the parade in New York City for Halloween. Like, oh no, yeah, Bill de Blasio, like, he doesn't give a shit about this. He just I mean, he came down here, but like, he doesn't care about this. He'd rather like go parade and
he left
on a float. Yeah, he's not here. Do you see him? I don't see him. Where's de Blasio? De Blasio loves this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he brings these people in. They're both useless. Cuomo, de Blasio, they're both useless. You have such nice handwriting.
Thank you, Laura. Let's do your hashtag after too. Whatever info you want to give me, I can put it on the ground.
Wow, this guy writes so nicely in chalk.
Guys, don't block my light. Thank you. Hola.
So look, guys, you have all the media saying one thing, and then these are regular citizens, New York citizens, who are writing messages. You see it here. Look, none of the reporters are talking to any of the conservative people who are trying to disavow Islam. They're all just talking to, you know, the people who want to perpetuate their narrative, right? Their pro-Islam agenda. What happened? For those of you who don't know what happened, there's a terrorist attack here right across from the World Trade Center. Muslim on a visa who came here under Obama's administration rammed a car into civilians on Halloween, killed 8 people, more people are injured, more people may die, right? And he shot people and ran them over and then shouted Allahu Akbar. So it's, you know, it's a sight that we see too often here on a daily basis, whether it be in Germany or France or Brussels, everywhere, all over the world. They don't care. I mean, look, like, de Blasio should have enough respect for the people of New York City to cancel the parade out of a safety concern, right? You have Muslim terrorists who are running people over with trucks, and they're about to have thousands of people line up in the street. There is a war on for your mind. Infonews.com. Infonews.
Laura,
yeah.
what's your, do you have some kind of Instagram?
Oh, my Twitter is @LauraLoomer. And then my Instagram is @Looms.
Live from
Looms
New York,
93.
it's Laura Loomer. Thank you for being here, a conservative voice in this liberal wilderness.
I know, and even Fox News. I mean, they send their most.
Shep is back? All right. 9/11 was an inside job. This was an outside job. You have a business card or something?
I don't have a card.
How do you spell your name? What should we write?
Loomer.
Some wine over there. Look. Anybody wine?
I mean, you would think that the media would have a varying viewpoints, right? They would talk to people who want to speak out against us, but they literally are ignoring every single person here. Have any reporters besides myself talked to you?
No.
I mean, they're all just talking to the women in hijabs and the Muslims who are out here, but they don't want to talk to any conservatives and talk to them about, you know.
Did you try? Did
Islam.
You ask? You were very brave. You were confronting that journalist when I first saw you.
Yeah, the woman, and I was very.
You
I was
disavow
fine.
Islam radical Islam.
Well, what did they do? What did all the reporters do when I asked that question?
They were all ganging up on you, and then the policeman moved you along.
Yeah, like one of these, like, you know, tough, like, beta boy, you know, liberal reporters, like, grabbed my arm. He literally assaulted me. Like, one of the members of the press, like, legit assaulted me because I was confronting a Muslim New York Times reporter. So I was going to go to Chappaqua tonight, actually. Like, my Halloween costume was Hillary.
The Clinton Foundation wanted me to work with them. They were closing down their Brooklyn office or something, and they wanted to hire me just before the election. I took the card, but I never called them back.
Smart move.
write your number down for me?
Yeah, sure. My hands are kind of cold, but let me write it down.
Okay.
It's like freezing out here.
It is cold. We should really collaborate. I don't know why Alex didn't take you on board. Doesn't he say he's going to try to hire some reporters?
We'll see. Who knows? He might.
Are you hungry?
You have a cell phone?
I do, yeah.
Just put it in your phone.
Oh, the battery's dead.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Just take my Instagram down. Oh.
Laura Loomer?
It's Looms93, but yeah, it's Laura Loomer.
I might have something more cutting edge. You know what I mean?
Or like if you have a card, I'll take it. I just don't have any cards on me, and I don't have a pen. Sorry.
I have discovered.
Oh, cool.
What does that do?
But, just write it.
Can you write it down?
My Instagram handle. Message me here, and then I'll like send you my number because I just don't want to like say it.
Let's collaborate on a project. I still want to write.
Can you read that? Looms93.
Looms93, yeah.
And it's just Laura Looms. L-O-O.
I thought you looked familiar. I don't keep up with all the people that are. Were you ever in Austin?
No, I wasn't. But I'd like to be.
Grow where you're planted.
Instead of looking and asking people, the mainstream media is just going to run over the message with their feet. There's a war on for your mind. They don't care. Hey guys, be nice, you know? I don't care if like regular people want to talk to me about working on something with them. I'm open. I mean, I'm not gonna dismiss people who are gonna be, you know, nice and supportive. You know, too many of these reporters have such an elitist mindset. You have to be a voice for the people.
You know, if we get to Murray Street, you can get to the West Side Highway, right?
Yeah, but the whole area is, I mean, there's probably bodies still on the ground over there. They're probably, you know, not even done.
That's what those black trucks were for.
Well, they have people in the white suits, so.
Are they walking around down there?
Yeah, you can see them in the white suits.
Oh, that's terrible.
Suits, so. It is so cold.
I mean, and then she wanted somebody else you were talking to brought up the Crusades. I was like, come on, bring up a current event where a Christian or a Jew use their religion to exercise their, you know, just murderous rampage, you know?
Exactly.
And you want to bring up an event from this millennium, all right?
Yeah. No, exactly. It's crazy. It's absurd to me how, you know, oh, the Crusades. Let's talk about something that happened forever ago.
Right? And the Crusades were only started because the Muslims were like slaughtering people. Take care of business.
It's time to take care of business, you know?
Have you studied journalism? Or?
Yeah, I went to school for journalism, but, you know, just, I don't want to like work for any of these mainstream media networks,
right.
Or
Baruch Hashem. Always pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You don't like Fox News? You don't like Tucker Carlson?
I like Tucker and I like Sean Hannity, but the issue with Fox News is like lately they're just as bad as CNN or MSNBC a lot of the times, right? I mean, they're regurgitating all this information about this guy, but they're not asking the tough questions like if he had false identification, how was he able to drive for Uber, right? Like why is that all these guys from Tampa are committing acts of terrorism in New York City? Like why are they not focusing on things like that?
Did you hear Shep say he had expired? How did he get it from Home Depot if he had an expired truck?
Well, that's what I want to know. It's like if this guy had expired identification, right? How is he able to get a truck?
I mean, from now on, there's going to be some kind of clampdown on renting such a truck like that.
47,000 viewers. Awesome.
47,000 viewers?
Yeah.
Live from New York, it's Hans and Laura. We are here, the conservative voice in on Chambers Street, and we're telling it like it is. Some maniac got in a truck. Hey, buddy.
Anderson Cooper's right there. In case
Where?
you want to go chase it up. Right there. He's right there. Right behind the police.
Where's Anderson Cooper? I don't see him.
He's right there. Right. The two lights.
I can't see him.
You see the police car? There's a big satellite. Straight ahead. Straight ahead.
Okay, let's go. Let's go talk to Anderson Cooper. What should we ask Anderson Cooper? You guys, Anderson Cooper's here. Let's go talk to Anderson. Wait, it's over here. That's Anderson over there, right? Oh. You guys, we have Anderson Cooper here. What should we ask Anderson Cooper and CNN? It was focused on Shepard Smith, but you guys, what do we want to talk to CNN about? Let's look at the way CNN is reporting this story, and I'll call them out. Who wants to say CNN is ISIS? CNN is ISIS. Are you ready? We're going to do some CNN is ISIS. So apparently the driver really did pledge allegiance to ISIS. We'll see what CNN has to say about this.
Lauren, stand on this bucket, you can get a better view. Really? Yeah, right. All of the cameras. You're very provocateur.
You know, I mean, the guy pledged allegiance to ISIS. What is CNN going to do about it? Hold on, I want to hear what they're actually saying.
Just in terms of this investigation, we were talking about how they have to go about it, assuming that there are other people involved, and then just prove that over the course of time.
Who wants to see a CNN is ISIS?
Is it that there would be a video, a larger video, so-called, which is what we saw in, I think, when the Charlie Hebdo attacks, like a number of
CNN is fake news! CNN is fake news! CNN is fake news! Anderson Cooper is fake news!
Globalist News Network.
Jeff Zucker's the CEO. It is true, you guys. CNN is ISIS. Infowars.com. They're looking at us, but... CNN is ISIS. Say it again. You should just chant. They really are. I mean, this network is constantly sympathizing with these types of people, you know? Constantly. Fake news, CNN. Talking about ISIS. think they cut the feed. It's like they're waiting or something. Oh, cut the feed. Don't let people see people chanting CNN is ISIS and CNN is fake news. God forbid. These people are absurd. It's just funny, like they come out and they act like they're trying to report on this, but they're part of the problem, right? They're constantly sympathizing with these people. They're constantly attacking Donald Trump, right? Attacking him for his agenda, criticizing him for wanting to protect our country and prevent these savages from coming in. And then what do they do? They act like they actually care about this? Please. This is what they deserve. I'm filled with so much hate. Why? Because I oppose fake news CNN. But you guys literally spend all day attacking President Trump for his travel ban, right? For policies that would actually protect this country, for keeping people out, right? Preventing Islamic terrorism. But CNN wants to talk about CNN. Well, ISIS took responsibility for it, but then they said, oh, it wasn't ISIS.
Conspiracists too. You're haters.
I'm not a conspiracy. If CNN knows, why weren't you guys down there? Actually, the CNN reporter actually stole my scoop when I reported that Stephen Paddock checked in earlier than reported, right? So you guys really aren't doing anything.
Wow, that's a great job.
Oh, turn around. Turn around, why don't you? I'm hateful.
Don't be a hater. It only sets you back.
I'm hateful. Why did you guys hire Kathy Griffin, who literally shot an ISIS photo shoot?
Oh my God.
Why does CNN support ISIS?
Decapitated a president? That's
Anderson
atrocious.
Cooper is friends with Kathy Griffin.
You guys are deplorable. Pray for our president.
But let's turn around. She just is going to call me hateful. That's a CNN talking point, right? They got caught making fake news.
All right. Baghdad, remember? Katyusha rockets are coming in all
CNN is ISIS! What? Let's just say it. CNN is ISIS.
I mean, ISIS beheads people, and Kathy Griffin beheaded some mock beheading.
ISIS, CNN is out here acting like they're really going to cover an ISIS terrorist attack. Right. Smile, Anderson. Live.
You want to be globalist now?
It's live. It's live. It's live. CNN is ISIS. CNN is fake news. Anderson reporting on a terrorist attack. He's friends with Kathy Griffin, who holds an ISIS photo shoot. Let's talk about that.
Kathy, what were you thinking?
Let's talk about how CNN likes to sponsor ISIS photo shoots.
That was disgusting.
Reporting on an ISIS attack, right? Are you guys going to tell us how hateful Trump is?
Let's go to Kathy now.
How's the travel ban sounding now? Sounds pretty good, right? Sounds really good, actually.
Right, I'll sign up for that.
How's Donald Trump's travel ban standing now, Anderson? Pretty good, right? Or would you rather watch people get mowed down by Islamic terrorists?
These people want a
pledging
one-world
allegiance?
government. They want us all to be globalists.
CNN does not care about New Yorkers getting mowed down by Islamic terrorists. You guys sympathize with these people. You criticize Donald Trump for trying to protect our country, and then you're going to have the nerve to come out here and act like you want to report the truth? You guys are fake news, Anderson. Fake news. Fake news, Anderson Cooper.
Thank you, Travis.
Serious.
Thank you, Travis.
Get someplace else. No one wants
Fake
to
news, Anderson Cooper.
We're trying to work. That's okay.
No, sorry. I think the people deserve to know how fake CNN is.
Okay.
Right?
But I'm glad
Are you guys
have
going to
that opinion.
disavow ISIS? I know that you guys were so fond of Kathy Griffin holding an ISIS, photo shoot with Donald Trump,
Why don't
but
you put your phone down and shut up?
why? Oh, you work for
Live
CNN and you're telling me not to put my phone down and shut up? I'm an independent journalist. I can do this if I want. I don't need that.
Guaranteed.
I have a right to exercise my right and let people know that CNN is fake news, right?
But do you know that Trump made $1 billion deal with Saudi and Saudi funds ISIS?
Yeah, you are right. That is correct.
So
that is
what's
correct.
your
And look,
point
I don't
then?
agree with everything Trump does, but Why was CNN so adamant on portraying Trump as an Islamophobe?
Trump funds
why?
Saudi.
But
Saudi funds ISIS.
why? Okay, but
You should get your facts right.
But I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying that. But what I am.
Not just CNN.
Why is it that?
Why are you commenting on what Trump does and doesn't do, and whether you agree with it?
Isn't that
or
what
not?
CNN
That's
does?
not journalism.
All they do.
That's not journalism.
All CNN ever does
You're
is
not a
comment on
journalist.
what Trump does.
You're as much a journalist as I am.
And Anderson
You're
Cooper
clueless.
is. Anderson Cooper's a journalist.
You're an idiot.
He comments on Trump all day.
Clueless. He doesn't comment on him.
CNN doesn't talk about how horrible Trump is all day long.
He reports what he does.